And we are going free. I think the music is playing a little longer than it's supposed to. I think there's a bit of a malfunction. Can you all hear the music still? Oh, yeah. Hold on one second. There we are. Everything should be fine now. It's great to see you all. How's everybody doing today? Happy Sunday evening, Monday morning for everyone. And what a glorious day it is here in Virginia. 76 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 24 degrees Celsius. And so a magnificent day, glorious blue skies. Nothing could be better in the world. And we are going free. That's what makes it so absolutely amazing. How's everybody doing today? I see the great Johnny Size. Good evening, No White God. I can't stay long as I have to work, but just wanted to say hi. I will catch up on the show tomorrow. Sounds good, brother. Thank you for saying hello, stopping by. Traversing the Divide is here. Great to see you, brother. Photon is here. Hallelujah. Full Moon Ancestry. Great to see you. Can everybody hear me okay? Teddy Net News says hello, everyone. Aunt Sally, hello to you and your lovely guest. Misty, Apollo J. Esom is here. Great to see you. Jay Esom saying, you brighten my Sunday. Well, that's very kind of you to say. Bikini Bandit. Mandy is here. Says, ordered her copy of Go Free today. Chat, it's on sale on Amazon right now. It is indeed. Thank you for sharing that, Mandy. And please let me know after you receive it. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, ideas, anything that we can do to improve it as you work through it and apply it in your life. And let us know here with your testimonies. And we will modify Go Free as need be to continue winning for our people so we can recapture our destiny. And Caper Mel is here. Great to see you as well. Southern Bloom, Greek American. Ambriel, great to see you. Puppet Perception. So many wonderful folks here. And who do we have over here? We have Matt on gardening and Alma. And Art Maker, Seaver, the great Seaver Hamlin is here. The great Roy Danton is here. Rebel Scott Mack, great to see you. Student of History, great to see you all. Kimberly is here over there on the gardening channel as well. We're going to have a very exciting time today. We're going to try the calls again, try to talk with you all about what's going on in the world with you and your families and your interactions, and see if we can't help you. And by helping you, and also hearing about your successes, help everyone else in the white positive sphere as well who are going free, who are going to be very likely in the exact same situation that you were in or something very similar, and so they can learn from it. And that is why we are going to, that's the whole idea behind the calls and why we've been thinking about doing them for a long time and finally have gotten to the point of finally doing it. So I wanted to, because there's so much going on right now, so much negativity, so many ugly things going on. And in fact, I was just looking at it was a tweet here by Keith Woods. Everybody knows Keith Woods. Everybody likes Keith. And he writes in his tweet here, nationalists, quote, if one big event would come along and would give us a chance to discredit neoliberalism and globalism. Now, of course, here, ladies and gentlemen, we call it anti-whiteism. We don't give it the name. We don't give them the names of their taking. He writes neoliberalism and globalism and get people to support nationalism and statism, close quote. So what he's pointing out is that there are nationalists out there, white positive people out there that would say, all we need is just one big event and then we can make it happen. And then he writes underneath of that, coronavirus and colon happens. And then nationalist colon, there, of course, this would be the nationalist response. Pretend it's not real. Alienate normal people, become libertarians. Well, yeah, there's a lot of that going on, regrettably. Well, let me rephrase that. There's not a lot. There are some loud people who are doing that. There's not a lot of it going on. There are some loud people. I had somebody write me, somebody who's completely, obviously moronic, and said, tried to say at this point that coronavirus is nothing. It's not happening. It's just flu. This is not just flu. The whole aircraft carriers are not coming down with the flu all at once. This is something definitely different. The people I know who have this, the people who Jared George know who has this is not your typical flu. I've never had a flu season where you say everybody at your office is sick with the flu. So this is definitely not make-believe. But the thing here that I want to point out here is that it's not that Keith seems to be implying, and I could be wrong, could be reading him wrong, and I give leeway for that to, of course, be the case. But it seems like he's saying here in this tweet that whatever percentage that he's speaking to are saying, are maybe deflecting, or maybe trying to run away from an opportunity. That's not the issue. The issue is that they don't have a vehicle. They don't have a psychological defense that's provided by Go Free, and they don't have the lexicon. They don't have the dialectics to defend themselves, to take this to the masses. They don't know how to craft the argument. We now, and I was speaking with a bright woman who's serving White Wellbeing in the cause, and the other day, and we were talking about the fact that I predicted long ago now, even in YouTube terms, that there would be things like economic crashes, pandemics, even meteorites, all these kinds of things that would alter the context. And once again, this is proof of our positions. How much more proof do you need? The absolute proof of our position, that when people say, well, how are we going to get from A to recapturing our destiny? And we say there is no path in this context, but contexts are not static. They're not calcified. They can change. We can change them if we grow big enough and strong enough and intelligent enough. We can change them. We can put our shoulder into the context and cause there to come another socio-political context or social context in which there will be new opportunities and challenges that we will be able to take advantage of, given the size of our community, liquidity, intelligence, etc. And this right now is the precise proof. How many times do we have to talk about things? And this is not for you all, because I know you all are in the know. You all are au courant when it comes to this. But for those outside the service to white well-being, but who are yet in the white positive sphere, how many times do we have to be proven right? Not in just like some remote time frame that maybe we said something 10 years ago and now it's and some weird interpretation happening now. No, I mean, we say something will happen, and then within the foreseeable future it happens. I was talking about pandemic changing social societal context for us months as well as years before it happening. And so I told this woman, and I will tell you all what I told her, and that is, we're going to have more pandemics in our lifetime. Now, this is not just somebody just throwing a spitball out, thought of an idea or thought into the wind or something. This is what's going to happen. And what we have now is a situation in which we cannot take advantage as much as we would like to of this horror that is befalling our people, our countries, and it is indeed going to get worse. It's a horror because people are dying. It's a horror because people are being maimed by the illness. It's a horror because people are losing jobs. People are losing their businesses. And rest assured, the anti-whites are going to come in with these business opportunities and grants and the like of our dollars to go to non-white entrepreneurs to start businesses in the place of all of the white business owners who lost their businesses, all of the white employees who lost their jobs. The anti-whites are going to come in with our governments and our power of our governments, or the governments that govern over us. They're not ours anymore. And they're going to be empowering the non-white people at our expense. Whether these non-white people care about white well-being or not, or they're anti-white, they will be empowering them at our expense. Our expense means at your expense. And so Keith here is right in a way and wrong in a way. Those who are white positive, if they get empowered with a psychological defense against the psychological warfare that is waged against us, we will be able to take advantage of the horror that anti-whiteism inflicts on us and use that truth, use those realities, those inevitable consequences of anti-whiteism to reach our brothers and sisters with something that is pure, that is lasting, that will heal them, that is a curative contagion that they then can take to their families and friends and spread this even further. Right now, you have a bunch of people who say things like, yes, if only there was a big event, but they have nothing to then use if the big event takes place. If only the house would catch on fire, but they don't have a way to put the fire out. So it's not necessarily these people's faults. I mean, yes, that they're smart enough to say that, well, we need some kind of big change in order for there to be change. But they don't know. I mean, that's like a child saying, we need rain to grow grass. They have no idea, or worse than that, we need wood to build a house. They have no concept of all of the intricacies, the dynamism that goes into it, but we do. And we need to be bringing these people into the fold of what we're doing here, going free, serving white well-being, so that they too can learn, so that when things like pandemics strike, or economic collapse, or war, or acts of terrorism, or the like, when these sort of things happen, these big events that they want to take place because, well, maybe not want to take place, but they say if takes place, will give us an opportunity. They then will be able to take advantage of the opportunity. There'll be other societal shifting opportunities as well, such as rabidly anti-white politicians being elected to office. We need to be able to make use of all of these opportunities. There are opportunities right now, given this pandemic, given this plague that is sweeping the world, that quite frankly, we are not able to take advantage of. Many of you are doing magnificent work. Sean, I've been messaging with you and others who are out there online and going to and from work and social distancing, and yet saying to people, this is because of anti-whiteism. We have to stand 10 feet apart because of anti-whiteism. I went over to a store, ladies and gentlemen, the other day, a computer store, because as you know, we're building this new machine to be able to bring this message to you louder, clearer, fresher, be able to do so much more all at once. And when I showed up at the store, there were people everywhere. It's a big box store. There were people everywhere and milling about on sidewalks, in the parking lot. And I walked up, and people are in masks. People have plastic shields. People have rubber gloves. And there were QR codes pasted on the columns outside of this building. You had to scan the QR code, which took you to the business's website, which you then had to enter a virtual line on, and then you could mill about as long as you weren't near other people, to go back to your car and wait and watch on your phone until you moved up in line and got close to the front, and then you walked to the front of this building and waited for them to yell your name, and then you entered a big box store that was like a ghost town. People, just smatterings of people here and there as a consequence of this. And talk about an upheaval. How can we not? If you go out, if you have to go to work, don't go out. If you're locked down, if they said don't go, you're not allowed to leave. If it's only for your necessities, or you are in one of these professions that are needed. And there are a great many, depending upon where you are in the world and what state. For example, in the United States, firearms stores are considered essential in some states. Computer stores considered essential, certainly medical. Food. There are a lot of things that are still considered essential. And if you are one of these folks who have to go to work, and you're coming across other people there walking down the street, they have a shield on their face and a mask over their mouth. When this is happening, and you see somebody like that, say, hey, you are dressed up like that, like a clown. We have to be afraid of each other because of anti-whiteism. And go look up anti-whiteism. Go see what it is. Go to nowhiteguilt.org and just keep walking. We need to be taking advantage of this. This is going to make a big change in people's lives. They'll never forget having to live like this for the rest of their lives, except maybe it'll get blurred together with the other pandemics. But if we had now, just think about this, instead of having a bunch of people in the what Keith was calling nationalists, but instead of having something like that, instead of having all of these what if we had 50,000 people going free? What if we had 50,000 people serving white well-being, knowing the lexicon, knowing the dialectics, and this happens, and each one of them is touching, not literally, given their plague, but touching others online and when they have to go out with this information. How quickly would that 50,000 turn into 150,000, 300,000? These are the opportunities that we can't pass up anymore. So I agree in part with Keith here, but what you have here is a lot of people who have no idea what to do. That's why they are suddenly running. They're pretending like it's not happening because they don't want the burden, the onus to be on them to have to do something, because quite frankly, they don't know what to do. They don't have any idea. They are invested. They have invested themselves in all of these antiquated systems of serving the well-being of our people, and they know they're not going to work. So what options do they have to pretend it's not real, to alienate folks, to claim to now be libertarians or all of these other idiotic things? These are people without tools. Let's make sure we get the tools to them. So let's move on to the next thing. What I wanted to do, though, because we have this going on, I wanted to share with you, and we're going to be getting to the calls here toward the beginning of the show this time instead of toward the end. And we're going to be keeping this much tighter than we have other going free episodes. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you all some pictures from, this is today in Virginia, because, and I would like you all, this is part of surviving, coping with what's going on in the world. You want to be level-headed. You want to be the sane one. You want to be, you want to have sang-froid. And when you speak with those around you, you are the one who is able to talk about Go Free in a calm way, is to talk about what's happening in the world in a calm way. And you are the epitome of perfection moving through this. And so part of that is going to be going outside and soaking up the sunshine, maybe working in your yard. As I said, work on that mini bike for your son or your cousin or your brother, whatever it is, that go-kart, fix that tractor that's been broken, do some gardening. I see a lot of people with gardening photos, but I just wanted to share this today. This is the sky here in Northern Virginia, right outside of Mordor, the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., in Northern Virginia. Beautiful blue skies. As I said, it was 76 Fahrenheit and around 24 or 25 Celsius outside. Big, beautiful blue skies, white clouds. The world is amazing. Off to the bottom right-hand side, you can see a tree with red leaves. That is a gorgeous Japanese maple. I'm going to share with young guys a picture in a second, and I'm going to tell you how to get a hold of women when you bring them over to your place and cause them to never leave. There's a little trick I'll show you. What else did I have here to share? How about cherry blossoms? I don't know if you have anywhere you are in the world, but we have a lot here in Northern Virginia. Check this out. Isn't that stunning? Beautiful cherry tree blooms, just smiling. And as you can see along the ground here, you can see my favorite flowers, the daffodils, and looking gorgeous as they could possibly look. This is the beauty in the real world. And this is not something that you should look at as, oh, well, this is just something superficial. Our biosphere as members of Western kind resonates with the natural environment. It resonates with beauty. We are one with the beauty of the earth. It's one of the reasons why we always reject ugliness that we see elsewhere in the world, is because we are one with beauty. And when folks ask why beauty, the simple reason is that, number one, it is because it is part and parcel of who we are. But why beauty? Because it's a virtue as important as truth, as justice, as honor, as bravery. That is why beauty. And this is why images like this resonate with us. This is a place that is near me. This is something else I'll show you before I share with the young men the secret of keeping young women or men of any age who want to get a woman in their life, keeping women in your life. This is a plant called Andromeda. Isn't that stunning? Take a look at those little inverted flowers that are like little bells. This is a beautiful plant flowering now in spring here in Northern Virginia. Absolutely gorgeous. The rhododendrons, a different type of plant. I didn't get a picture of those, but they were flowering just before these were. Beautiful plants. And now, men, are you ready to find out the secret of how to get you have a girl, you've taken her out on a couple dates, and now it's comfortable enough to be able to bring her back to your house. You want to close the deal. You want her to want you forever. There's an easy way to do that, and that is all you have to do is plant some of these. Women will die for these. Now, as you can see, there are a bunch of blooms that haven't opened yet, little buds. They will open. This plant is called phlox. You can buy that at really any gardening store. Well, I guess I can't speak for the whole planet because I don't know the names of all the different companies, so I won't give out store names. I don't want to endorse any either, because I'm sure the very next thing they'll do is something violently anti-white. But this plant, you can get it anywhere. It's called phlox. It is easier to take care of than your grass. And guys, that's meaningful right there. So all you have to do is you go out and you buy some of this. It'll spread. And this entire thing will be a bed of flowers. And you plant this around the front door or something in little areas around the house. And you bring the girl back to your house when this is in bloom. And it stays in bloom for a good little while. Hopefully they'll figure out a way. I'm sure the white race will be able to figure it out to keep these in bloom for the entire spring and summer. But it's a bed of flowers. The ground is covered in these pretty little flowers that comes in different colors. And you bring a woman to your place, and these are outside, and it doesn't matter. Your landlord won't care. Just go ahead, don't even ask. That's how I've always been. Just plant it. You won't have to do anything for this. The only thing you'll have to do is if it tries creeping other places, you'll have to cut it back some, but that's rare. It'll fill the area that you planted, and when women see it, they will melt. Ladies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When they see this, the ground covered in these pretty little flowers, they will melt. Guys, you'll have to, they'll set up a pup tent outside of your house if you have to kick them outside. Everybody in the military knows what that is, or those who go camping will know what a pup tent is, but she won't want to leave. So there's a secret for you guys out there. Let me see what else I have here. Oh, I did have just as a joke, we had, we had Simon on the other day on tap, and this was where he was teaching Mr. George and myself how to throw God lasers, I guess God level lasers from your eyes. And then this was somebody memed it and put that exact same picture up. It says no guilt, should say no white guilt, very close. But this is the great Simon, great fellow. We had him on. He was shooting the God level of lasers from his eyes for us the entire show. Oh, you know what else I wanted to say was I have a video coming up that I'm going to share with you all soon about changing the battery in your car. It can save you several $100s, and in labor. It's going to be different, of course, for different vehicles, but there are a lot of tutorials. I made a video of changing the battery in mine the other day, and so you will be able to be able to watch this. And to some degree, I mean, you'll probably need another video that is specific for your vehicle, because on your vehicle you may have to take out different components. I had to take out the air cleaner and remove it from the turbocharger to be able to reach the battery. But I'll share that with you all and be able to save you all some money, which is always a good thing. Save our community some dollars. Oh, it looks like I forgot one other thing. Check this out, everybody. This is my feeder that I put in. Look at that. On the left-hand side there is a male cardinal. On the right is a female house finch. And in the very center there, ladies and gentlemen, the nearly displaced bluebird. And all sane people are doing everything they can now to ensure that these little guys are not displaced. And as Westmen, we should feel a particular connection to the bluebird here in America who is getting displaced. He's a lovely little fellow, isn't he? That's the male. The females they're dimorphic, but they are essentially the same coloration. They just look a little dimmer in the coloration. The blue on a bluebird actually is illuminated by the light. It is captured by, I think it is two clear cells or translucent cells that wrap around a dark cell, and they capture every part of the spectrum except for the blue. So the brighter the sun, the brighter the blue. On the right-hand side, you see the female house finch doesn't look very much like the male house finch. They're dimorphic as well. The male house finch has red, and of course, the female cardinal doesn't look very much like the male cardinal that you see on the left-hand side there. So, beautiful little guy there, and we definitely have a connection with the bluebird. Oh, in regard to Simon, Reptile wrote a comment under the thread I wanted to share with you all because it was so meaningful to me. He wrote, and thank you so much for this, Reptile. He quotes Simon was talking about his daughter and helping his daughter to go free, helping to bring her over to the service of White Wellbeing. And he said that he told her, I'm not going to tell you my beliefs until you know I'm one of the good guys. And she said this, quote, I know you're one of the good guys, Daddy. And Reptile goes on to say then, a single sentence that reminds us who we are, what we are, and why, all capital letters, we do it. Absolutely heartwarming. It really was. hearing that really melted my heart. I know you are one of the good guys, Daddy. That was really very touching. And thank you for picking up on that, Reptile. We are the good guys, and we should always behave that way. And we're going to be talking about a guy, a scumbag, who didn't always behave as one of the good guys. And my predictions about him came to fulfillment. Other people saw many things wrong with him as well, numerous other people. But I definitely made some specific predictions that came to a fulfillment, as I say. Oh, something else I wanted to say. Like, I show these images of the plants and these sorts of things. I did show the battery, but some of you might be saying, well, isn't Jason also into self-defense? Doesn't he have the tools of self-defense? Doesn't he have firearms? Why doesn't he show a gun and show how to clean the gun, or something like this on the stream? Show some pictures of cleaning. You can do all of these kinds of things. This is a fantastic opportunity. I know you right now. I know I'm seeing you right now. You have that filthy shotgun. You haven't cleaned it. Now's the time to do it, since you're locked down. You can't go out anywhere. You have that 38 snub nose or whatever it might be that is filthy. You haven't cleaned it in a long time. Now's the time to break that thing out, take it all apart, know how it works. The reason why I don't on live streams show pictures or show guns in the video is because it is an instant, your channel's gone to do that on YouTube. They have absolutely zero tolerance for showing any sort. You can't even show them. You can't break anything down. I don't think you can even show pieces. Like, you can't even show. I'm not even going to go into I'm not even going to say the words, because the algorithms, I'm sure the AI is listening and will immediately alert the walruses to what I'm talking about here. So that is why I don't talk about those things during live streams. So for anyone who ever wondered, like, does Jason only talk about plants? I'll tell you this, guys, the thing about plants and birds and other wildlife, and it's all infinitely easier than your car. It's all infinitely easier than taking apart your motorcycle. It's all infinitely easier. You just memorize what everything's called. Everything's going to have a scientific name, and then it's going to have a popular name, and that's it. So it's another easy hobby that you can get into, and you can be more of a well-rounded person. You'll feel that empowering you in your life as a Westman, and you'll be able, when people see you, when people talk to you, and you talk to them about going free, they'll say, well, this person is into all of these different things, knows about all of these different hobbies and that completely normal things. So this person obviously can't be what the anti-white narrative says those are who care about white well-being. So that is why I don't talk about firearms here on the streams. Now, I wanted to thank, I received a number of letters at the P.O. Box since I have posted the P.O. Box. You can go to the link down in the description where it says the cryptocurrencies, and on that page you'll find my P.O. Box address as well, as well as the cryptocurrencies that you can financially gift us here in service to white well-being. As you know, we've taken a pretty big hit by all of these different anti-whites getting us censored off of all of these different platforms that we use to facilitate those transactions, those transfers, so if you want to contribute by way of cryptocurrency, please don't hesitate to do so. So I want to thank a couple people. Stephen, I want to thank you. I received your letter in the mail, and I received also Randy. So I want to thank Randy, and I received Final Blossom, your letter in the mail. And of course, we shared Final Blossom's video where he tweeted it and he showed these cards. So remember, he has on that tweet, which will be on my timeline as well. You'll be able to find, I think it was a download that he provided so that you could have these cards made yourself. Look at how easy this is. Now, of course, right now, when it comes to promulgating the white well-being to our brothers and sisters, leaving cards out might not be the best idea. The anti-whites might try to claim that you're spreading coronavirus by doing so, even if you are absolutely cleared of coronavirus. You haven't been in contact with another human being in 2 months or whatever it might be. But these are the kind of things when this lifts. And by the way, it's not, the coronavirus isn't going away. Finally, what did I say? What was it, back in February? Didn't I say coronavirus would be here forever? Didn't I say it would become seasonal? And what do we have here now? Let's see. Do I have it up over here? Maybe not over here. Maybe it's over here. I finally saw Fauci says likely coronavirus will become seasonal. He graduated as #1 in his class. #1 in his class, and he's been in that job, working in the government for 3 decades or so. And he's gotten a lot wrong recently, actually, though. But finally saying it'll become seasonal. And I said this back in February. We were all talking about this back in February. But once it begins to abate, ladies and gentlemen, you can you go ahead and get some of Final Blossom's business cards that he has designed. What a hero Final Blossom is. Really, what a magnificent hero he is. Thank you so much, brother, for sending me this. Remember, when I was ill with my throat many months back, Final Blossom sent me medicine. I mean, it's not some weird concoction from home, not some poison, but it came right from the distributor. But thank you so much, Final Blossom, for all that you do. A great participant in our community. So let's see. Oh, I forgot to show you all, or I think I did at least, homeschooling. This is something to be really excited about. Let me just do this for 1 second so I can turn this fan around. Getting warm in here since, as I say, it is quite warm outside. Something that is really magnificent, and when it comes to these opportunities in society, we really have to take advantage of them. And coronavirus has caused one of the most, I guess we can say, fundamental, or I guess a deep fulcrum on which coronavirus is going to help us, and just generally our brothers and sisters, the vagues out there, to come to the truth of the world, is the fact that all of these schools are being canceled for the rest of the year, or for much of the rest of the year. I think many of them have been canceled for the rest of the year. And parents, white parents, are seeing for the first time the real garbage that their children are being taught at school. And I may have shown this. This is a woman who's serving White Wellbeing. These are the pages out of a textbook that she had to tear out of the book and throw on the floor when she finally took a look into the children's textbook. And this is by the way, this is a school that was specifically chosen because she and her husband were doing everything they could to get their children away from the anti-whiteism. And this is the anti-whiteism they found in one of the books. How outrageous is that? So there are going to be a great many brothers and sisters out there, vagues, who are finally taking a look at what their children are being taught at school, and they're going to be coming across this. Are you going to be there with the good word of going free, of serving white well-being? Are you going to be there to say there is another way? You don't have to continue down this path where the anti-whiteism is the infection that your children are subjected to throughout the totality of every school day. There is another path. You can inoculate your children against this, and you can become their heroes rather than their bane, which is how you will appear to them if you continue to allow them to imbibe anti-whiteism. They will look at you as a bane, as their bane, and that is why we have this phenomenon that so many people think is normal, that it's just normal for children to always rebel and want to destroy everything about the parents. There's nothing normal about that whatsoever. The energy that is manifest in the youth is an energy that can be channeled for the betterment of our world and the betterment of their lives and the children that they produce. That is how that energy should be used. It should not be channeled by anti-whites to destroy their parents, to hate their parents, to hate everything white that has come before them. If you don't want to be the target of that, then you need to teach your children to go free. You need to inoculate them against anti-whiteism. And you need to get to those around you who now are finally looking at these textbooks and saying, oh my God, let me tear this page. Let me tear that page, because it is so disgusting. Let me see what you all are saying. And then I think I'll have a few words maybe about, Heimbach. And if you all have anything you want to say about that dirtbag, because that was one of the topics that I wanted to address today while we are together. I see HB 2014 is here. The great eminent rain, Promethean hails to you. Brandt Danger, hello, brother. Spartan Warrior Queen, great to see you, dear lady. All right, let me run through the, run up and then run back down through this chat really quickly. And Laurel is here, great to see you. Very Fake News is here, wonderful. Michaela is here, how are you doing? Are you saying the phlox smells divine or something else? Maybe the Andromeda? I didn't know that the phlox produced any smell, but I'm a guy and our sense of smell is weaker than women's. You know what? And all of those anti-white feminist women out there, they're going to pretend like they just didn't hear that. They're going to pretend like they just didn't hear Jason say that a male's sense of smell is weaker than a woman's, because they want to have their own story about how I talk about men and women. Iron Blood says here, we would have preferred for you to keep the Heimbach discussion for TAP to get Jared's take on it too. Well, we can definitely bring it up again. I don't intend on spending a lot of time on it, because I want to get to you all and your specific situations, helping folks to go free. That's what's important. Brown Green is here. DF is here. Circus Midgets, hello to you. Iron Blood says the blue birdie is a cutie. Yeah, it really is. Mr. Hugh, what's happening all? And Jason, we're not going to read your Vietnamese first name. That was the one time we would read it. Caper Mel says, no, right, oh, I love that. Birds are the best. So tranquil. Yeah, they're beautiful little guys outside. Mr. Hughes says, Jason, that book, Go Free, was excellent. All in caps. Thank you for that testimony. Good sir. That is going to bring a lot of folks, when they hear that and see that, they're going to become interested. What is it about that book that's excellent? What is it that's helping people? What is it about these ideas that are improving people's lives? This is what we have to be sharing with folks. So thank you very much for that testimony. Tall Kevin is asking for the Skype name. I'll give it out soon, brother. I think what I'll do today when it comes to the calls, so we don't end up with an accident or intentional disruption by anti-whites, is that maybe what I'll have you all do is you all can write me, and I'm not even sure how I can do this on Skype. We'll see. It's still a bit of an experiment, HV, who was keen to share with me that I have me and Tim Murdoch are the only ones that pronounce that word that way. But it's, well, I get, maybe one of these days I'll share a story from that, but that's the way I learned how to pronounce it. But it's still a bit of an experiment. So let's, but maybe what I'll have you do is we'll write in and then I will call you back. And then that will be the way to prevent accidents from happening. All right, let's see. Okay, Seaver, thank you very much for that info there. A person with wonderful little symbols that I simply can't read says, no white guilt, your video, Welcome to White Wellbeing, is censored in Sweden. Well. Is that new? Is that a new censorship? I thank you all, everyone who's getting to me and letting me know about these acts of censorship against us. because specifically what we're doing here in White Wellbeing, because it speaks to a reality about what we are doing that is so fundamentally different from what others are doing. There aren't a great many who are providing answers. I mean, Tim, we mentioned Tim. He's a great example of somebody who is providing answers, a path to get through anti-whiteism, so that we can come out the other side and be a people rather than this deracinated race that we've become. But the fact that we have individuals in governments that are looking at what we are doing here, and this isn't some just generalized censorship where they just say, okay, just add that channel and add this channel, add that blog, and they just toss them all in if it's anything that's white positive, and we'll just attach an algorithm and they'll all just be censored. No, these are specific instances of governments, individuals, obviously individuals that are taking the steps against the mission of Go Free, the verbiage and the dialectics of Go Free. And that's really important because it says a lot about the good that we are doing for us as individuals, and therefore us as a community, and therefore us as individuals. So I appreciate you sharing that information. Let's see, the chat leapt on me. Okay, let's see. Michaela says, doing good, thank you. Thank you for your awesome work. Greatly appreciated. And well, thank you very much for being here with us. Irish Ice is here. Great to see you, good brother. Yonash is here. Late at night. Great to see you. Up all night. Iron Blood, I doubt women having a better sense of smell. I doubt women having a better sense of smell than us men. They use more perfume than us, and therefore their noses become less effective at smelling natural scents. Well, perhaps that is true over time, but it has, I read many years ago about, I think it was several studies that gave men and women different scents of varying degrees to see if they could capture the smells and say what they could smell, and the men were outpaced by the ladies. And it has also been, so that those were studies, and also my anecdotal evidence of being with women and them saying, do you smell that? And there's no, I have no registering it whatsoever, and no sense of it whatsoever until it gets stronger, and then I can smell it. And if this might have something to do, they've theorized, with ensuring that women don't choose partners that are too closely related or too distantly related from themselves. There was, I don't know, I don't recall if this was a study, like a proper study, but perhaps somebody can look it up, where they gave women articles of clothing, and the participants didn't know that the sweat that had been infused in, of course it wasn't, the articles of clothing weren't still wet, but the sweat that had been infused into these articles of clothing were from, some of them were from their family members, men in their family. And the women chose, they were asked, I can't remember the exact verbiage, but do you like the smell, or do you find this objectionable? Or, and the ones that had the exact same smell, like their brother or their father, they rejected. So men that were not their brother or father, a different smell. But I don't know if they looked, they probably didn't look about too distant of smell. Now, my sense of smell is more than good enough to be able to smell the difference in the different non-white races. When I was growing up, I had friends from every racial background, and I could smell the difference in every single one of them. I could never smell a smell for our people. And I asked my friends because of it. I thought maybe if you're white, you can't smell white people. So I asked them, I said, do we have a smell? Do white people have a smell? And they always said no. So I don't know if they were just afraid, or, you know, young boys, they wouldn't be. They would just say, yeah, you stink, or, you know, whatever. But I would tell them, I would say, yeah, you have a distinct smell. And so I would imagine that if the smell was too distant, it would also be off-putting to the women. But I don't know. I mean, it would something perhaps to investigate once we recapture our destiny and we have less important things to worry about. HB says here, when you get to Michelle Malkin's segment, I would love to have Jared George join us. Did Jared make a video on her? I don't. HB may have difficulty pronouncing. Oh, no, I may have difficulty pronouncing experiment, but he knows his past participles, which is better than 75% of the population. Thanks, brother. I try. William Runner says hello. Benjamin is here. Machiavelli sucks. Hello to you, dear lady. Iron Blood again says, I don't know about answers, but Sticks, Axe, and Hammer 666 has been blocked in Deutschland since 2015. I bet he said something about a certain group of people and maybe a certain period in history, because that would certainly do it right away. Wouldn't take much if you had a big audience and you said something like he does, and you say something about a specific period in history that doesn't fit the anti-white narrative, and or about a criticism about a specific group of people, then I could see you instantly disappearing from all of the opportunities or options folks have when it comes to watching YouTube or listening to content over the internet. Andre Boston is here. Clomp Sauce, is that what that is? Great to see you. Two Little Fish is here. Great to see you. What are we going to do next? We're going to talk about Matthew Heimbach. Let's talk about Heimbach for a minute. Did any of you know him? I did that video in the middle of the night, and I had to get up. I had people messaging me, and so they said, "Look, this Heimbach, Matthew Heimbach, he has did this video where he has joined this other group calling themselves Light Upon Light, and we will refer to them as Darkness Upon Darkness." And anti-white group. And why are they anti-white? Well, it's anti-whiteism, pushing for multiracialism, pushing for multiracial solutions, pushing for, I had some idiot write under the thread, this isn't anti-white what he's doing. Of course it is. He called himself, he said that he was the, with an anti-white slur, absolutely fitting the anti-white narrative, the face of hate. And then said that if the red star fits, talking about an accusation of him being a communist. And then he said, this is now about all peoples of all backgrounds, racial backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, and everything coming together. That's anti-whiteism, idiot. So what is it about Matthew Heimbach? Well, I'll just sum up if you didn't get a chance to watch the video. I think it's an 8-minute video, and I don't know how coherent it was. I didn't even listen to it afterward. I just was happy to get it together in the middle of the night and then get back to sleep because, as you all know, I'm not able to get very much sleep. So essentially, I met this fool about 10 years ago, and he was trying to start at that time a white student union at a university called Towson in Maryland, which is not terribly far from here. And I had a conversation with him, and I could instantly tell that this person wanted nothing more than to aggrandize himself, that he was there. He wanted to participate in service to white well-being and the white positive sphere so that he could get a lot of attention from Matthew Heimbach. And I said, look, do not use any of that language. Do not talk that way, because you are going to look like the bad guy in their story. Now, he didn't like anything I had to say. I talked about white well-being. He didn't like that. Why? Because his objective was to get attention for himself. And the lesson that we have to learn here in the white positive sphere and service to going free is that every time one of these selfish bastards shows up, and you should be able to see, I mean, the more older you get, the more mature you get, you'll be able to tell who is selfish and who is selfless. Every time one of these folks show up from now on, let's always reject them. Don't let it just be no white guilt rejecting them. All of us reject them. All of us denounce them. All of us go out on our vlogs and blogs and everywhere else we go, and we say, this person is a scumbag who wants nothing more than attention for him or herself, does not care for white well-being, does not care for our people. If we don't do that, then we see what we end up with. How much fodder did this fat loser provide the anti-whites for decades to come? Rest assured that if things don't go down the toilet in the very near future for Western civilization, and I mean this in varying degrees, there will be new, much crisper television. And when you look back on the video footage of Heimbach from these past 10 years, it's going to look as bad as black and white. They will be using that deep into that future. This idiot who wanted nothing more than attention for himself. And all of those people out there, by the way, let's not only reject these selfish people, but let's also reject the people who think it's a good idea to endorse, either consciously or because they're stupid, endorse people who are egoists. Let's also reject those people, because it's their support of egoists that ends up pushing these people into the spotlight. It's all of those people who surrounded Heimbach, and it's okay to go wrong. We all make mistakes. I make more than all of you. The difference is you have to say, I made a mistake and now I'm going to go right. So all of those people that surrounded Heimbach and said, this guy is genius. This guy is a great leader. This guy, look at him showing up at his rallies. That gave the anti-whites, the crowds, the footage, all the footage they need for the next, who knows, 10, 20, 30 years to support and prove their anti-white narrative about us. All of you showed up, all of those folks, not you here serving white well-being, but all of those folks showed up to support Matthew Heimbach, this egoist extraordinaire, and reaped all of that attention. And now, because you thought, well, this egoist, this guy wants all this attention for himself, he must be a great leader, even though he's focused on just getting a bunch of attention for himself. He must be a great leader because egoists are great leaders. He must be. So all of these people who are either egoists, too dumb to get it, that you shouldn't support an egoist, or who consciously think that supporting an egoist is a good idea because he or she, elevating him or herself, is going to elevate all of us. Bravo, Sierra. It ends up, and I'll use another one, a Charlie Foxtrot every single time. So I said to this guy, I said, look, you are going to do nothing but embarrass us. You're going to do nothing but prove their anti-white narrative about those who care about white well-being. You're going to make a fool out of yourself. And I ended the conversation. He was incredulous. He absolutely, needless to say, didn't like me either when I said that this path you're choosing right here to just get as much attention as you can, get as many interviews as you can, get in front of as many anti-white reporters as you can, this path is going to go bad. It means there's nothing good. If you meet somebody, ladies and gentlemen, who wants to get in front of reporters, get away from that person. Nothing good is going to come from it. Tell others, do not follow that person. Do not listen to that person. Ostracize that person. Have nothing to do with that person. No good will come of it. Instead, this guy I saw from the very beginning, and then the couple other times that he showed up at events I was at, I never went to an event that he held because I wanted nothing to do with it. He showed up at events that I was at, and as I said in the video, I refused to be alone with him because he is the kind of person I could tell, bad character, no character, black heart, selfish, unethical, immoral, a bizarre and shifting, self-generated interpretation of Christianity. Even in the midst of a conversation with him, I wouldn't be alone with him because of these things. Because he's the kind of person that would say a conversation did happen or didn't happen, an act did happen or didn't happen. So the conversations I had with him after that were in front of other people. And each time he confirmed what I already concluded about him. And that was that he wanted nothing more than attention for himself. Each time he said, I've got something new, and this new thing is going to get more attention for me. This new thing is going to get more reporters to look at me. Essentially what he was doing was he was asking himself, what does the media want? What does the anti-white regime want? What will they put their cameras on? What will their pins start scrawling to? What will their typists start typing to? Well, it's the antagonist in the anti-white narrative. So if I just be that, then they'll come to talk to me. So that is why I said, well, that was at the very beginning, the first meeting, I said, eventually this guy, he's going to run out of gas, getting in attention from, and he was very animated. And anybody who would, at university level, now I'm not saying, by the way, that he didn't have any concern for white people whatsoever. I'm just saying that it was a distant second or third or 10th. I don't know. But what was number one, what was first for Matthew Heimbach was Matthew Heimbach at all times, by far. So anybody who at his university, instead of just wanting to spread white well-being to his fellow students, and instead of just wanting to ignore the media, get away from the media, have nothing to do with the media, somebody who says, no, yeah, come talk to me. Come, let's have a conversation. Somebody at that age that wants to behave that way, you can draw some conclusions. And one of those conclusions was that he is so focused on the attention that one of these days he'll run out of being able to get attention for himself by way of being the bad guy in the anti-white narrative, and then he'll flip so that he can then get the attention for himself again from the regime, get the cameras, get the reporters, whatever it is, print media, video media, television media, get it all on him again so that he can tell his story about how dreadful it is in the white positive sphere, how the bad guy in the white positives and the anti-white narrative, how the bad guy in that narrative is absolutely true. You just wait and see. People like this, we've seen others, and there'll be more in the future. Let's not make the mistake again. When one of these people starts talking this way and they want to get in front of all of the cameras, let's make sure to tell them to go straight to hell. If you want to serve white well-being, you do so without getting in front of ABC and NBC and Vox and all of these other things, and talking to New York Times and talking to Washington Post. You want to serve white well-being, you get to the families out there who are suffering. You get to the mothers who are tearing the pages out of the children's textbooks because every other page is anti-white. You want to serve white well-being, you do that. You're such a POS, Heimbach. I can't even. You will have a far luckier life if you never come face to face with me again. Because I knew this from the very beginning about you. And now you're going to be, if you go out there for attention from CNN and all of these different Fox News, all the rest of them, and you go out there and you go on a lecture tour and you start telling all of the white brothers and sisters out there, all the vagues out there, how the anti-white narrative is real, brother, or not brother, scumbag, you better hope we don't run into each other. Because you know you are the only one who thinks that way. You're the only one who's thinking about harming non-white people. You're the only one. You're the only one who took the flag of the South, which millions of white Southerners love and even cherish and venerate, and even some non-white Southerners, probably even hundreds of thousands of non-white Southerners venerate that flag. For them, means something very different than the anti-white narrative. And you wiped your ass with that flag by flying it like it was a sports ball flag. And then you're going to go and you're going to grab other flags that you knew would affront people, that you knew would offend and prove the anti-white narrative to the masses, to millions of people out there, making all of our work infinitely harder. You go on a mission, brother. You're a scumbag. You go out there on a mission. You start talking to universities, telling lies about what we do here in service to white well-being, and you better hope we never come face to face. God, these scumbags, ladies and gentlemen, can never be tolerated in our midst again. How many white children are going to suffer? How many more essays are going to be written at university and high school about how the anti-white narrative is true? Because people like Heimbach are going to be going out there to get attention for his fat ass self, saying, oh, it's absolutely true. All they're talking about is XYZ in private. Bravo, Sierra, fat boy. We're not talking about any of that stuff. Only you are. He's going out there to all these guys. Ladies and gentlemen, and rest assured, those people he gave hope to are now sinking into opioids, are now sinking into heavy drug use, because they put faith in him. They didn't know any better because not enough of us said, this guy is an egoist, stay away. And then they see, what's he going to do? He's going to only thinking about himself again. Cheating with his right-hand man's wife or whatever the relationship was there. What a POS he was. And then fighting the guy. What an idiot. All of those people who put faith in him, how many of those now have been submerged now into depression, into sickness, into drug abuse, into white flighting, into all of these horrible things for themselves? People he supposedly cared about. Good white people in Appalachia, poor people. He supposedly cared about them. He didn't care about anybody but himself. And now he's going to go out there and he's going to make things infinitely worse for all of them by telling the world lies about what's happening in the white positive sphere. I don't give a damn. Some of these people came up and said, well, you know, what about jail? Maybe he had a plea bargain. Fall on your sword, fat ass. It's about being a man. You're the one who got naked with that woman however many times and had sex with her. You're the one who beat up her husband. Go to jail. Suck it up. Plea deal my ass. All right. I could get a lot angrier about this because a lot of good people are going to be harmed. A lot of our most vulnerable members, our elderly, our sick, our children are going to be harmed by this guy. He's going out there now. He did everything he could while he was getting attention for himself to absolutely personify the ne'er-do-well in the anti-white narrative. And now the anti-whites, because of it, have the proof. And now he's going to be going out to universities and making videos and tours to get himself more, most likely, not guaranteed. Hopefully he hears this video and decides, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should just go back to a regular life. Maybe I shouldn't make it hard for the people who still care about recapturing the destiny of the white race and saving white children from self-hate, saving them from self-mutilation, saving them from a growing anti-white, just metastasizing cancer. Maybe I shouldn't feed that. Maybe I should go out of this like a man and just go get a normal job and live out the rest of my life. Try to make amends for the wrong. This is what I hope for you, Heimbach. This is what I hope for you. Do the right thing now. Disappear. And if you want to make one last video and say that you shouldn't have gone down any of those paths because all of those paths were harmful for white people, didn't do white people any good, that you were just doing what the anti-whites wanted you to do, if you want to make that video, buddy. Make that video that you were selfish and you were giving the anti-whites what they wanted and you didn't believe in any of these weird things that you were espousing. You just said those things because that's what the anti-whites wanted. Make that video and then we can share it and we can use it against what the anti-whites are going to be using against us in the future of your past videos and interviews. All right. Taking up too much time. Let's see what else there is here. We had some people say some funny things on the thread. Jay Easom called it the Heimbach maneuver. I like that. Very, very witty woman there. Very bright woman. I also saw Matthew Slimebach in the thread. Well stated. I also saw Heimbach, because he certainly hasn't missed any meals, whether he's been in jail or wherever he's been. He's been eating well, very healthy, very healthy. Somebody else said face of Walmart for that guy. Bellicose Nation wrote this. His income stream dried up once his dysfunctional personal life became known. Now he will grift his way into playing the role of, quote, the hate whisperer, as he presents himself as a savior of the hate movement. I can see him on a college speaking tour making the YouTube and media rounds. Thank you for writing that, Bellicose Nation. It's a lot of people have a similar anticipation or expectation of this. So clearly, I'm not folks who are serving white well-being. This is what I said before. I'm able to make predictions that come true, not because there's something special about me. If there's something special about me, it's that I'm going free. All of you can use the exact same tools of going free, and then you are just as special. You can make the same predictions and they will come true. This is how those around you will say, oh my God, Bellicose Nation is some kind of soothsayer, has a crystal ball, knows the past, can explain it, understands, can predict the future, predict, retrodict, all makes sense. So you all can do the exact same thing. I have no desire to have to sit on everybody's shoulders and interpret everything for you. I want for all of us apostles to spread these tools out to all of our brothers and sisters so that they can do it on their own. Thought chains, ladies and gentlemen. Peace Ekep says, this is done by these people on purpose. Talking about Heimbach. This man was always anti-white from the start. He joined so he could say, I know, I was there in the movement, to try to get people to believe him when he enacted his plans to undermine that movement. So what I want to do here, Heimbach was opportunistic. He saw an opportunity to aggrandize himself, probably not a hideous looking guy by any means, but definitely not the best looking guy either. Probably didn't get a lot of attention from the ladies at university, and Lord knows, universities, Towson has some real honeys walking around. And every time I've walked across the campus, neck starts hurting. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's some of that whiplash, left and right. So I get it, man. I get it. I get you wanted to get some attention for yourself. You're not exactly an athlete. You weren't exactly going to win them over with romance. That's not really your thing. And so you wanted to get attention for yourself. But this was a mercenary move. And we talk about mercenaries in Go Free. And so if you were studying with us, if you were arriving at these shows, you would know these kinds of individuals when you came across them. And so I'm briefly going to read page 81, The World Beyond, the Mercenary, and the Craven. We're just going to talk about the mercenary here. In the context of going free, the mercenary appears in three forms. And now each of these three forms, I didn't break it down any further. They break down further, though. And maybe we'll add these in the future. Least often, mercenaries are members of anti-white operations designed to infiltrate white positive groups for the purpose of gathering intelligence, provoking violence, false flag operations, and the like. Such roles are more often filled instead by diehard anti-white agent provocateurs. So this is, I guess that just makes sense. Just saying that, won't add anything to that. And instead, I'll just proceed. But mercenaries have and will continue to be used. So a mercenary can be used. He doesn't necessarily know he or she is being used in these cases, where they are in the role that a diehard provocateur would be serving, undercover, if you will. But there are other forms of mercenary, and Heimbach is a great example. In this segment, I am not addressing false flag and similar operations. Often, the mercenary is a solo actor, joining or befriending white positive communities with the intent of severing ties and telling their story for attention and financial reward from an anti-white world eager to confirm their anti-white superstitions. Now, I'm not saying, certainly not with that passage, but I'm not saying here either that when Heimbach got involved, he said to himself, one of these days, I'm going to come away from this and get more attention. I'm not saying that at all. It was opportunistic in the most lowbrow kind of a way that an opportunist can be motivated. And that is that this will work for now. What will work tomorrow? What will work the day after? Oh, okay. And how many years from now? Then when you arrive at that point, how many years from now? Then something else suits the opportunist and he or she pursues that then. Most often, however, the mercenary is a crackpot, unable to find acceptance in normal society. Such people believe that they will be welcomed in ostracized communities, such as those in the white positive sphere. When they are rejected, for their aberrant behavior and ideas. They reveal their mercenary side by creating their own community around themselves as they seek attention and financial gain by, quote, telling their story about life inside the white positive sphere. White well-being advocates, that's us, must vigilantly guard against such individuals. From subtle to obvious ways, they often reveal themselves by their lack of sincere dedication, study of material, and participation in the white well-being community. So it was in the book before the fat bastard did it. Do you own this yet? And if not, why not? It's in the book before this fat bastard and others have done it. It was in the material that I have been sharing and teaching before these losers, Shep and the other ones, before these losers did this. I've been teaching this. Why don't you own this yet? Why haven't you read this yet? If you have read this, then you'll know when you get to this. This is a workbook. You're supposed to draw in this. By the way, there's a woman in the white positive, another woman, another brilliant woman. And she showed me pictures of her, and maybe I will share with you. I'll have her send them to me again. Your copy of Go Free, if you have a physical copy, should be covered on the pages with your notes. I give specific room for you to write notes, but this woman has notes all around, page after page after page. It's like you can buy, she has one clean copy because she just wants to have a clean copy to have forever. And then she has a copy she works with, does the exact same thing with her Bible. Clean copy that she cherishes, another copy that she works in so that she can be a better Christian. You don't have to be a Christian to go free. You be a pagan to go free, atheist to go free, doesn't matter, works for everybody. But your copy should be absolute. If it's not full of writing, you got to go through it again. And if you would have read this, you could have marked right in there. You could have named people from earlier that you knew of, or you could have given some examples of behavior you could have written right in there. Now, certainly you can write nice and big, Matthew Heimbach, extraordinaire mercenary, and you won't fall for it ever again. That is maybe we need to have a go free, and I guess we should, a go free lesson every going free, at least one. So thank you all for that. And I want to say, Vivian is here. Great to see you, dear lady. Roger has showed up over here on the gardening channel. Hello to you. Let's take a look then quickly at your questions. I want to get to these calls. Where are we on time? Damn, time's flying. I got fired up about Heimbach. I apologize. Hildebrand is over here. Salute to you. Financially gifting $15 US before they go bad, as they shrink in front of us. Thank you so much, good friend. And writing here, great show tonight, Jason. I am temporarily laid off. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. That's wretched. We have so many of our brothers and sisters who are laid off right now on furloughs. And please, if you are furloughed, if you are laid off, if you are whatever they're calling it for you to make it sound, if you are, what were they calling it at AT&T? Reassigned. Don't you just love this laissez-faire capitalism that reassigns you to poverty? And of course, you'll have all of these Republican and nationalist and patriotic dirtbags that'll say, well, capitalism, you got to love it. No, I don't love anything that can turn one man into a billionaire and another man works 70 hours a week and live like a dog. Screw that system. That is a terrible system. That's laissez-faire capitalism. That's crony capitalism. It's not the capitalism that you think it is. If you are one of these people who have been laid off, like Hildebrand here, and specifically for you, dear friend, good sir, and you want to financially gift, make it $1. Don't give the minimum that it will allow you to give in a financial gift. If you want to financially gift, please keep your money. Keep your money if you don't know how long it's going to last. But I deeply appreciate the financial contribution. And he says here, financial gift. He says here, temporary laid off because of the corona situation. So money's a little short right now. But your rant about Heimbach deserves some shekels. Thank you, brother. Stay safe, everybody, and keep fighting, Jason. Together, we will fight through this. Amen. I said, what a hero Hildebrand is. Thank you very much for that. The great hero Irish Ice over here as well with the $5 gifting to White Wellbeing. Thank you, dear friend. What do you think about the libtard-style protests and marches screaming about how the anti-whites are killing our babies and murdering our people? How we're all terrified of how we are all terrified of the monster anti-whites, putting on a convincing show how we are scared victims. I haven't seen this. I'm not sure. At first, I thought you were talking about screaming about how the anti-whites are killing our babies. At first, I thought you're talking about the only big marches that I see that take place, not about anti-whites murdering our people in general, but our right to life people talking about infanticide, of course, which is, I don't know if it's, I guess it's legal now in Virginia, but ask YouTube because I don't know. You know, everything here that's said, you have to confirm it with YouTube. Just ask one of the walruses. That's actually their official title, walrus. And ask one of them, and they'll tell you whether or not infanticide is true. But of course, everybody has seen the video of Ralph, or maybe you did. Maybe it's fake. Maybe you didn't, where he's saying, well, they'll take the baby and they'll make sure it's comfortable. And then, you know, they'll just let it pass away over there while it's comfortable. Well, it sounds like infanticide to me, buddy. But remember, ask Agent Walrus over at YouTube. So I don't exactly know, but I guess the crux of your question might be, and you can add in the question widget, maybe clarify for me, so you don't have to gift again. I deeply appreciate your $5 gift, though, Irish Ice. Big hero here, going around the community and spreading white well-being everywhere he goes. Thank you so much. Scared victims. I think maybe that is the thrust of the question. We talk about that we are victimized, but at no point do we say or in any way imply that we are scared or that we are powerless or any of these sorts of things. We are a victimized people. We are a heroic people, and we are people who are saying enough is enough of the victimization of ourselves as individuals, of our community, of our weakest members, our most vulnerable members. And we're going to put an end to this victimization. There are anti-whites out there, and I've come across this, and even people in our white positive sphere who will say, never talk about our victimization. And these people are just short-sighted. They might be dumb. They might have been misled. There are certainly, as I was saying a moment ago, anti-whites who want us to never talk about our victimization because they know the power of acknowledging the victimization of a group and how the individual is victimized by group victimization. For example, forever diversity, higher there's a diversity fire. That's one of our meme curatives, MCs, in Going Free. If you understand then that our community is harmed, so that every time they say at your workplace, we're going to be increasing diversity, what they're saying is we're going to be getting rid of white people. We're not going to be hiring white people. When you realize that the community is harmed and you are part of that community and therefore you are harmed, you are victimized, then you weld a community out of a group of people that didn't know they were a community, that have been told since they were born that they are not a community, that they're all individuals, that they need to practice hyper-individualism. The anti-whites love this. This is part of the anti-white narrative. We need to be talking constantly about how we are victimized, but at no point do we ever say that we're scared or we're powerless or weak or anything of that nature. In fact, we say that we are sick of the victimization and we are going to put an end to it. So thank you very much for the question, Irish Ice. Over in the question widget, we have Promethean Promulgation. That's a great name. You use the phrase, quote, you wouldn't say that about any non-white group, but is it ever good to name a particular event that illustrates that fact? You use the phrase, you wouldn't say that about any non-white group, but is it ever good to name a particular event that illustrates? It depends on the event and how you go into the event. I know many of you out there are saying, well, what about, a certain period in history where one number is claimed and then another different numbers are claimed and this sort of thing. If you want to go superficially to make a point without going into challenging an event in history that is by our brothers and sisters out there accepted as fact, because challenging it makes you look like the monster in the anti-white narrative. If you don't want to go down that road, then yeah, you can give an example of how, well, you wouldn't say that because I've done that. I don't know Promethean promulgation if you've seen in threads. And I think also I've addressed comments on Going Free and elsewhere where I've said, they wouldn't say, X, Y, or Z about black people, would you? I put anti-whites on the spot. Would you say that about Jews? Would you say that or here's a good example. I had a back and forth of where I said an anti-white, I think it was a white person, saying that denying any victimization. And we were just talking about victimization a moment ago. And so I said, would you deny the claims of victimization by Jews? Would you deny the claims of victimization by blacks? You wouldn't. So you're demonstrating how anti-white you are. And that immediately shows their hypocrisy. They have to come down off of the horse as the gallant defender of all that is right and noble, and they then have to make their case from the gutter, and they lose the argument when they do that. Thank you very much for that question. Tall Kevin says, I know white well-being is of redemption, but could Heimbach ever be redeemed after his traitorous actions? Well, I think if he decides to, and it's all about your acts. If Heimbach decides that he's going to make the video that I said that he should make and then disappear, and then maybe write a book about how he was, we can go to an extreme. Let's go to an extreme. So let's say Heimbach makes a video or two or three about like the kind I was talking about where he was misled by the anti-whites. He was selfish. That was a flaw inside of his character, a flaw of himself that he now recognizes, that he has actually done grave harm to the white race, to Western kind, by aping all of the anti-white narratives ne'er-do-well. And he makes these videos and then maybe writes a book or something about taking all of the blame. It's his fault. He's done a lot of harm because of it, and does what he can to make up for the harm that he's done. Then certainly in the future, he could be redeemed. Now, redemption can also be at varying degrees of redemption. He has proven himself unworthy of leadership forever. So he can't be redeemed in that sense. So I'm sure mature adults can say, well, there are various degrees of redemption, and this guy can't come back and be a leader again. He can't come back and be on a stage again, but he can certainly be allowed back if he makes his new life's mission to tell the world how he has done grave injury by being the bad guy in the anti-white narrative, being selfish, and what he actually saw was people like me. If he actually wants to tell a story about what takes place in those private conversations in the white positive sphere, he can talk about the conversations, the brief conversations he had with me. And he can say, hey, look, this guy only cares about white well-being. And all of these other people I talked to, they only cared about white well-being. They did not want to imitate all of these other these flags and slogans and ideologies and economies and government styles. They didn't want all of that. I kept pushing it because I knew I would get on TV. If he wants to do that, then more power to him, and he could definitely work his way back to a level of redemption. Great question. Jason. Okay, Iron Blood. Okay. All right, but I won't be reading that out loud, but thank you for that. And so let's see what else we have. If we had anybody else who has financially gifted, we got to keep moving. We got into this. We get excited when we're going free. And I really think, let's see. I mean, let's let's put the challenge to Heimbach. Let's put the challenge to him that he tell the masses the truth. Let's let him get on a live ABC interview, which I'm sure they will allow him. Let him say, yes, I'm going to tell you about how evil the X, Y, or Z. I'll tell you exactly what you want to hear, and then get up there and say, you know what? I was the problem. I was the one pushing all of this stuff that would get me attention, and the people in the white positive sphere, they didn't want any of that. I misled folks into following those things because I was selfish and whatever else he might say. Let's put that challenge on. Let's see if he'll step up to the plate and be a real man. Everybody has an opportunity to make a comeback. Everybody has an opportunity to be redeemed to whatever degree. Underhill is here. Great to see you, real brother. Ambriel says, I always look forward to your live streams. They are always entertaining. Thank you so much. Yeah, you never know when my head is going to blow up with rage. Irish Ice, I was thinking maybe gaining sympathy from public by using the same style as the anti-whites, screaming very convincingly that we're being victimized severely by the anti-whites. Not a bad idea. Yes, tell people that we're being victimized. Just don't ever do it in the sense of a place of weakness. You say, especially our most vulnerable members, you want to talk about them being victimized and how we're not going to put up with it anymore. And of course, that is not to imply. You want to always make sure that you're not implying, because they're going to be looking for the anti-white narratives, ne'er-do-well, the antagonist, the bad guy. So make sure that they don't interpret that as some sort of act of violence to follow up. Let's see. Ambrielle says, hello to you, dear lady. Okay, yeah, Irish Eye saying, we do the marches. Simon JJ is here. Great to see you. John says, which platform do you prefer for financial gifts? Well, you only have two options right now, aside from cryptocurrencies. And the link for cryptocurrencies is down in the description, where you can also find, I guess that's another option then. You can also find the P.O. Box as an option as well. As far as to be able to get a message to me directly right now, you have Cash App, which I don't believe is available in Europe yet. But those who are in Europe can let me know. And you have Entropy. Those are your only options. Entropy is at a cost of 15%. Cash App at 6%. But remember, with Entropy, you're also helping to fund that platform, those good people, the work they're doing there to be able to have our messages available. Provide those messages by way of their platform, even when these others are censoring us. So it is when you contribute through there, you are also helping to support them. Thank you for that question. Matt says, Jason, I can send some valuable barter items. Oh, well, okay. Message me. We could talk. Irish Ice says, going to get a study notebook today to compliment Go Free. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, JT Smith is here. Great to see you. Said, that's right to something. Elaine Sabatino, wonderful to see you, dear lady. All the heroes are here today. They always show up for Going Free. All right. I think we've got everybody on all the messages here. Elaine Sabatino says, I remember Heimbach since I was new to the white positive sphere. During that debacle, his antics didn't influence me one bit. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Very strong spirit. Over here on Cash App, we have the great Sloths showing up, financially gifting $3. Thank you, dear friend, saying everything that he wants to say to the anti-white bastards. And 41, BMC, great participant in our community. I salute you, brother, financially gifting $20. Thank you so much. Hail, Promethean brother. Well, a big hail back to you, good friend. And thank you for showing up today, for Going Free, and for your financial gift. So briefly, very briefly, because we have to speed this up, get to your calls. We want to finish up is, let's see, Michelle Malkin. I saw her briefly I watched the interview with the great Lana, and remember that Lana and Henrik have a brand new baby. They're doing amazing work for White Wellbeing and Going Free, bringing a great many people to our community. If you are not already a member of their channel, please become one. They need the help. They need the support. They need that for their growing family. They need that to continue to produce the top-notch quality that is bringing so many of our brothers and sisters brand new. Rest assured, when our brothers and sisters show up and they see Henrik, they see Lana, they see those expert graphics, they see their professionalism, they see that these people are erudite, they are kind to their guests, they approach these different topics in a mature and adult way. They say to themselves, this is nothing like the anti-white narrative that I've learned about. I'm going to want to see more. We want to support people that are able to do work like that. I'm just a guy in my office. The only thing that I can really do is change the picture on the wall and hang up some decorations every now and again. I can't do anything like they're doing. Please become a member of their channel to help support them. We want more and more of the content that they create. We don't want there to be any hiccup or stoppage in what they're doing because of any decrease in viewership. Remember, they have been censored off of YouTube and several other platforms. They're themselves, not just a channel or two or three or whatever. They are not allowed. Wherever they're seen, they are censored right off of YouTube, which means now that the funnel in which new viewers are coming in is narrowing for them. And the other side, you always have people disappearing. You have people losing their jobs, especially now. And therefore saying, well, I'm not going to be a paying member anymore. I don't exactly know what the membership is. It's very cheap. Very economical, especially for the value that you're getting. Give up a pack of gum a month and you can sub, or 2 packs of gum, whatever it is, and you can become a member of their channel, get all of their behind the wall content. Please do that for those people. It's actually a service to White Wellbeing, and I appreciate everybody who does. So if one of the mods actually could find out exactly what their membership is a month, and maybe post that, and maybe post the members link, would be splendid. Thank you so much. So the Lana had on Michelle Malkin, and I had some questions about Michelle. For content producers, was I the only one? I know a bunch of you also had some questions about, and this is how we should approach all of these things. We should be wary. We are not the white race of the past. We are not this gullible, goofy, leave it to beaver idiots that just say, well, so is somebody from the establishment's media shows up, well, throw the doors open, roll the red carpet out. That's what the conservatives, that's what the conservatives do. And other losers, apparently. How many other content creators were thought influencers were saying, maybe we should ask some questions about it? Remember, you all were here, and I said, I'm not saying anything, alleging anything specific about her, or that she is absolutely a saboteur or anything of these natures in nature. I just asked questions that the new white race, the sane white race, Western kind of the future, the Western kind that will survive, has to ask. We are going to be a wary people from now on, for God's sakes. I mean, good God, how much more evidence do you need that we haven't recovered yet than to have somebody come out of the establishment and they are welcomed with open arms immediately? It was surreal to see her speaking at that Fuentes event. But to have these kind of people just throw their arms open, but without asking any questions, like, why would this woman throw away all of that money? Why would she throw away the fame? Why would she throw away her Jewish husband? He's Jewish husband. What's going on with his family? Wouldn't his family be, I mean, you see what I'm saying here? We can't be so gullible anymore. There's going to be a pop sound, and it's going to be when you pull your head out of your ass. That pop sound when you pull your head out of your ass means you're getting healthy. You're no longer one of those gullible white people that just say, oh, golly, I'm going to just project who and what I am into everyone around me. And since I am as mature as a child in the nursery, then they must be as well. And I'm as innocent as the child in the nursery, then they must be as well. No, we're not going to be like that anymore. Not in Going Free, not serving white well-being. So I asked questions. Now, some people got angry. How dare you not project all good and innocence and everything like that into Michelle Malkin. And so there were legitimate questions. Why would she give up all of the money, the fame, etc.? What's going on with her husband? How does he feel about her association with people who have critical thoughts about his people? Some people who have critical thoughts about his people. Some people who have critical thoughts about certain numbers of certain things. You know, what kind of static? We all know what kind of static that can create. I mean, the smallest things can create static in familial relationships. Could you imagine the hostility of his family? Is he cut off from his family? They've already been cut off. And there was one thing, you know, I asked a lot of questions. I thought, you know, do we have one of these stalking horse situations, or do we have, you know, a saboteur that's going to pace and then lead kind of a scenario? And I said, we got to keep our eyes open. And everybody who felt uncomfortable with that, you need to mature because this is how we have to be from now on. And there was one thing that I said, I painted a picture, a possible picture. I said, you know, is she going to be compensated by some entity, government or otherwise, for entering this fray in the future? So that was a legitimate question to ask. There was one thing I didn't say, and for several reasons, because I almost didn't want to. I almost didn't want to sort of inflict illness on her. But one of my other thoughts about her was, is she ill? I mean, you know, is something wrong with her? And, you know, I did question psychologically. I said, is she crazy? You know, why would you give up all this money? But if she has some sort of illness, and I'm not saying she does, once again, this is another speculation, another question we have to ask ourselves about somebody coming from the establishment. And she being seemingly a mature person should be able to appreciate and understand that we're going to be wary, that mature people are going to be wary. And I suspect that she would. But there's another possibility is, and after seeing her interview with Lana, I'm thinking that this is potentially more of a possibility now with Michelle Malkin, is that there is some sort of illness. And we could imagine this with another person. Just imagine somebody else, not Michelle herself. Somebody comes out of the establishment and they have some sort of illness. They maybe have 5 years to go at best. Maybe they have 8 years to go. Maybe things are going to be getting worse. Maybe it's illness after illness and they don't know how long they have. Maybe there's, you know, some real health struggles. If somebody is facing that and they have also had a career, a lifetime of having to put up with some real irritating, upsetting, infuriating people. And they've had to shut their mouth over and over and over again for these people, for their career, for their enrichment, for their trips, for their notoriety, for the interviews on the international media. They've had to do all of this, bite their tongue time and again about something they believe in. And finally, they are afflicted now with some sort of illness or illnesses. It's one thing after the other, or they know they're going to die in 5 years, or it's unlikely to live longer, or whatever it might be. They could snap. They could finally say, you know what? I've been biting my tongue all along. I have been putting up with these people I've been saying, you know, whatever I could get away with, but otherwise steering clear of what I really wanted to be able to say. Because I knew that if I said what I really wanted to say, I wouldn't be on the channels. I wouldn't have the New York Times bestseller list. I wouldn't be on all of this. I wouldn't be making all of that money. So I've been putting up with it all. I'm putting up with people I really didn't like, putting up maybe people this person even hates, he or she, this imaginary person we're talking about right now. And finally, they say, you know, they're nearing those final moments, that deathbed. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, in your deathbed, you're not going to give a damn that you upset anybody in your life. You're not going to give a damn that you hurt someone's feelings because you said something positive about white well-being. You're not going to give a damn that some anti-white, white person or non-white person got shocked because you said something or claimed that they were offended. You're not going to give a damn as you lie there on your deathbed. And you get a similar view if you're having a lot of health issues and or you see the end is in sight. So it's entirely possible that this would be a very private thing for her. We would never know, or I guess we would never know, but it would be the kind of thing that would make her say, I don't care what my in-laws say. I don't care what, because it's possible that her husband, a Jewish man, is okay with her saying white positive things. And specifically, she said some positive things, a number of positive things throughout this interview. But one, and I think also her reactions to some very white positive things that Lana said, she wasn't shocked. She didn't shake her head. She didn't, I didn't read that on her face. But she said one thing that really, of all the positive things that she did say, that stood out to me, and that was, she said, quote, "There's nothing wrong with defending the idea that America should maintain its historic demographic balance," close quote. There's nothing wrong with defending the idea that America should maintain its historic demographic balance. Now that's the kind of thing that you say because everybody knows what the historic demographic balance is. When, of course, it goes to the definition. What exactly? So there is some gray area there. What exactly is she referring to? The historic demographic balance, is that 10 years ago? Is that pre-1965? And what is she talking about? Is that the first Congress of the United States? The United States was over 90% white, and they reserved citizenship for white persons of good character. The Founding Fathers Congress. What is she talking about there? In any case, I mean, almost anywhere there, as long as she's not trying to say, well, 5 years ago, that's your historic balance. If she is saying something other than that, then that is the kind of thing that ruins you like this. And she would know that. It ruins you as far as the anti-white regime. And so I'm saying that I'm going to give credit where credit is due. And so I strongly support those opinions of hers, and I will keep my eye on other things that she says. But otherwise, we may be looking at a scenario where, I was going to say about her husband, maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he's just so madly in love with her and their family that he doesn't care that she says such white positive things, that she goes and attends conferences and speaks at conferences with a room of 150 people, I'm told, or nearly 150 people, I'm told, at this Fuentes conference, Patrick Casey conference, and where she speaks, and he's just doesn't mind at all. But there is no way in hell his whole Jewish family is okay with that. So she's going to have to, his family of origin. So she's going to have to be at some measure of the mind that she doesn't give a damn what they think. And that takes a lot of, that's more than just I like America. That's putting an end to some of those family get-togethers potentially, and potentially her children suffering as a consequence, losing relationships. So there's something else there. And whatever it is, I don't need to know. We don't need to know. It can remain very personal for her, and I hope it does. What matters is the fruit that the tree bears. If she continues to say that there's nothing wrong with defending the idea that America should maintain its historic demographic balance, then I support that. That is a statement that is definitely in service to white well-being. And so thank you very much to Michelle Malkin for that statement, and give credit where credit is due. And thank you very much to Lana for conducting an absolutely sterling, scintillating interview. We don't get those kind of interviews from these six-figure salaried, seven-figure salaried people in the mainstream anti-white media, the establishment's media. So a big salute and attaboy, as we say down home, to Lana for that magnificent interview. Why don't we take a quick break? We will listen to a song, and I will come back and we'll answer your questions, and we'll have some calls. How does that sound, ladies and gentlemen? So let's see if we can find one of the pieces. If you aren't aware, in the White Wellbeing, we have White Wellbeing Community tab, and there we share videos, from different artists and content creators. And this has become on Fridays around 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern time, PM Eastern time. Please show up to these. They're a heck of a lot of fun. They have been renamed. Well, not renamed. The name's just been tacked on to what happens on Friday nights in the White Wellbeing community vids. And that is the Chuck Martell Garage Party, and a bit of a cartoon character there. We have a little bit of fun, and we show poetry and songs, and we show Jared George's video that he made and was displayed on Red Ice at the end of last year. And we'll be showing more of those and more of other people's videos. Please support our artists. It is extremely important that you do. Right now, we're going to watch one of the pieces. I think this first one might be from Traversing the Divide, and then we will be right back. I'll be sure not to yell this time. I think that was Traversing the Divide, wasn't an absolutely magnificent video by our good friend and content music creator. Magnificent music, truly magnificent music. We have the best folks here in service to White Wellbeing, the best artists, the best creators, the best influencers. Now, what I would like you all to do is, let's see, we're going to start out. I'm going to read some of these community comments while those who want to get on air write me. And we're going to go for about, let's absolutely end within the next 30 minutes. Keep this as snappy, as sharp, and truncated as possible. But write me, try to write me on Skype at the name I put in the chat on No White Guilt channel. And where you write me, just give a one sentence of what you want to talk about. And one person that I definitely would like to talk to again is Brandt Danger. I think maybe we will skip having the same people 2 weeks in a row unless we have, unless nobody else is wanting to talk about something. But we didn't really get to talk to Brandt because we had some calls coming in accidentally and didn't know how to handle that. So maybe you write me and let's see if you can write. Looks like folks can write. So yeah, write me and with maybe one sentence of what you want to talk about, and then I will call you and we'll have a conversation. We're going to try it on this machine simultaneously, see if it works. And if it does, then fantastic. If it doesn't, then we'll have to look over to the other machine and also maybe see if we can, again, this is an experiment. So let's see. While we have folks doing that, though, I'll read these. Carazius Caesar writes, 2 thumbs up for NWG from Newfoundland. Well, 2 thumbs up back to you, dear friend. I don't think you might be the first person writing from Newfoundland, so thank you, or at least owning up to it, saying that your actual area. A wonderful place. I know it's very beautiful there. And we had Oswald Shadow writing to Jared George and myself saying, you guys do amazing work. As a mother of five, soon to be 6, it's nice knowing I can listen to an intelligent show and it isn't full of bad language. Well, you are most welcome, dear lady. Thank you for those 6 wonderful white children that you are helping to go free, introducing them to white well-being and inoculating them against those MPs that are out there to ruin their lives. The great KD, what a great participant in this community. Thank you so much, dear lady, for being here. Writing, Jason really put his finger on the fact that instability is very upsetting to us women, and I appreciate that acknowledgement. I don't even mean the pandemic. I mean the huge numbers of non-white people living in our countries. Perhaps it's our women's intuition. Deep down, we know in our gut that we are in danger, no matter what the propagandists tell us. It's living with repeated daily fight or flight responses, and it's awful. Beautifully said, profound, KD, and you're absolutely correct. And thank you for the kind words. Thank you for writing and sharing that. Reptile, the brotherhood, love, and the success of our people can no longer be confined or contained by the borders of nations. We are one, all capital letters. And it's a privilege to stand beside you all. God bless the Westman. Thank you so much for that. God bless you, brother. Conservative Texas chick, which we'll be having on tap in the very near future. One more thought, she writes, we all tend to joke a lot, but all joking aside, I admire this so very much. I always say that our people have become weak and unwilling to stand together. I feel many have lost their honor. This speech and what you are doing give me hope that this love of our people and men having the sense of responsibility and honor to defend us has not died completely. I hope that your work will inspire more men to stand up and more women to be what we were meant to be for our people. Thank you for not being and then the word starts with a P, and she's referring to kittens. That really sums it up. All respect to you, Brandy. Well, thank you very much, Brandy, also known as Conservative Chick, doing a great deal of Conservative Texas Chick, doing a great deal of good deeds for our people. in South Africa. And this is a white lady in Texas. Shauna Beggs writing, excellent, Jason. One day you will be in our history books, and our children will feel proud that you were one of the men who made us whole again. I wanted to read that because that was a very meaningful statement, and it may be one of your children that ends up taking us over that next hurdle, over that next hill, over that next challenge. Ladies and gentlemen out there, look to your children right now. You might have the heroes that we will build the statues to, the heroes that will be in our history books tomorrow. They may be sitting in your midst right now. Make sure that you do everything that you have to do so that they can reach their fullest potential, so that they tap into all of the glory and greatness of Western kind that is coursing through their veins and through their spirits. If you don't stop the infection, they won't reach their potential. Holdebert says, so proud to be a part of this movement for white well-being. It's a proud, I feel proud to be able to serve with you, dear brother. Amanda writes here, I met a man today who told me about no white guilt, and I'm so thankful for it. I can't remember what his name was, Irish something. Thank you for telling me about the website. So she was someone in our community shared what we're doing here. Think about how many folks in the white positive community are out there, don't know anything about, because I'm not as as entertaining or whatever it might be. I don't get the 40,000, the 60,000, the whatever views a video. They have no idea that we have something here that can infinitely empower them, infinitely improve their lives. They have no idea it exists. And this person, Irish something, just happened to mention the good work that we are doing here for our people. And Amanda immediately came over, had a look, and was so moved that immediately wrote that message. So welcome, dear lady. Concerned British Girl writes, well done, Jason, and thank you for your work you have done to help white people. I've used some of the stuff you taught me with my mother and brother and sisters, and they have helped their kids and families go free. Let's get a round of applause for Concerned British Girl 28. Thank you so much. That is fantastic. That's exactly what we should be doing. So you are empowering yourself with the lexicon and dialectics of going free, and you shared that with your mother and brother and sisters, and then they in turn, this again, we're showing this happen again and again, where it's more than a step removed from this immediate hub of us helping people. So thank you so much. Well done. Well done, dear lady. Nexus writes, Jason, I just had a talk with a very close friend of mine today. While he's not on board 100%, I actually managed to get him to listen and accept much of what we've been going through as a community through rational discussion using much of your dialectics. Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Big applause for Nexus as well. I'll keep working on him in the meantime. Jason, I just had a talk with a very close friend of mine today. While he's not on board 100%, I actually managed to get him to listen and accept much of what we've been going through as a community through rational discussion using much of your dialectics. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear brother. Anne writing here, sorry, should have been clearer. I seem to be able to watch their YouTube clips and all the way through. With your clips, there are always problems like flickering off to other clips and the sound going, etc. Just seems a tad weird, and wondered if others have any problems. And thank you for letting us know, for the feedback about what the anti-whites are doing specifically to us, because we have the truth, the light, and the way to empower our brothers and sisters by going free. That is why the anti-whites are having this happen to our videos, but you're able to watch through so many other videos without a problem whatsoever. Thank you for that. And finally, Shauna Shaw here, a great participant in our community, writing, it only keeps getting better in this community every day. Thanks for being a spiritual salve in this insane world. I'm really excited about the Skype chats. I'll have to set up so I can participate in that in the future. Much love to all. Much love to you, Shauna. And let's get to those right now. Let's see what we have over on Skype. Call-wise, let's go ahead and jump right over. I think, Brandt, we're going to try with you first. I'm going to give you a call, and we're going to try to have this come through this machine at the very same time and see what happens. Here we go. If it screws up, ladies and gentlemen, I will just take a step back. Remember, this is a bit of an experiment, and we are also experimenting on this machine. So right now it says, can anybody hear the sound of the ringing from Skype on this machine like you could last time? No ringing. Jennifer says no. Roy says he could hear some ringing. Misty says no. So it sounds like depends on your audio potentially. Okay, let's try this again. Brandt, I'm going to try to give you a call again on Skype, and let's see if it works. I don't know if there's any issue on this end or on your end. Here we go. Brandt, can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay, now let's just see if we can get the audience to be able to hear you. It looks like my audio here is turned all the way up. Maybe I'll have to move this mic forward some. I don't guess that will matter. Can anybody hear? Well, first of all, Brandt, go ahead and I didn't get a chance to read what if you had written anything you wanted to talk about. So why don't you let us know what you'd like to talk about today, or what you wanted to talk about last time that we really didn't get a chance to hear very well.
Okay, well, I've got two things to talk about really fast. One is sort of a tiny little miniature white pill. So I was gone for a couple of days last week from my house. And for some reason, when I came back home, the garage door was wide open, which leads directly into the rest of the house. And nothing had been touched in the house at all. And there's a lot of, valuable equipment right in the garage door, right next to the street. And that's what can happen if you live in a high trust neighborhood.
Okay.
So everyone leaves everything alone, which is nice. And the other thing is there's a project that I've been thinking about for a while, and it's about time for me to start working on that, because I have much more time than I used to have as a teacher, because now I'm working from home. I have more time, and I'm going to want to have your advice, some feedback on that. So that's something that I'll want to write to you about.
Okay.
Sometime during this week.
Fantastic. I'll absolutely respond to that. We do want to get, and let me just make sure to ask, because you're helping me out here, Brandt. I appreciate that. Brandt, ladies and gentlemen, is a great participant in the community, a great guy doing a lot of things to help folks go free. So Roy says the audio is much better now. You all can hear me and you can hear Brandt. Is that correct? And our volume about the same for him and for me? And yeah, Brandt is, John says, yeah, he's in a high trust neighborhood. When you live in Mayberry, and for everybody around the world, there used to be this show, and where it was Mayberry, and there was a sheriff, and there, of course, it was like this all white town. I don't know if they had any, perhaps they had a non-white actor occasionally on there, but the Andy Griffith show. And of course, there was no crime. You could leave the door open. Everybody knows about this reality of Western civilization. And this is what I say, it is our biospirit that really separates the races. It's the biospirit that separates the races of man. It's not the intelligence so much. We could have, as an average IQ, 80 for white people. We would still build high trust, low crime environments. They would not be as technologically advanced, but we would still be able to, we've heard this, our parents or grandparents, they leave the keys. They left the keys in the car ignition. They left the front door wide open. They would have instances where people would just walk right in their houses because maybe they had a little bit too much to drink in the middle of the night. And then they would say, what the heck, I'm in the wrong house. And they would come out and say, hey, what are you doing? You're not in the right house. They would say, oh, sorry. And they'd walk out. These were even in cities. It wasn't just like tiny little towns where this took place in Western civilization. So this is the kind of environment that we can live in. So Brandt's talking about, left the garage door open, valuable things in the garage, and came home, and lo and behold, everything was there. Guess where that doesn't happen? It doesn't happen in heavily diverse areas. And of course, we know that heavily diverse means fewer white people. And so this is a wonderful thing. And now Brandt is looking to start another project, not teaching so much right now, and they're going to be reaching out to me. So I really appreciate that, Brandt. Really, I salute you for your service to White Wellbeing. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention while you're on with us?
No, I'm just glad that we're making this happen. We've got to do it.
Yeah, precisely, brother.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for calling, and I'm glad we were able to get you back on because we had that little. I think we had more than I know. One person said, "Who was it?" He said, "Well, I called in and I apologize," but it wasn't just one person; it was more than one. But he took the blame. That's a stand-up person right there. So we appreciate that guy stepping forward and apologizing. But we're good, and we'll have you back on again, Brandt. And specifically, what I would really like to learn from you, brother, is interactions. And of course, we don't want to hear about people or places, specifically names or anything, but interactions you have had. So think about this for the next time that we have you on, where you have been trying to help either young people or family members or what have you, and the kind of challenges that you have faced, because I would like to try to address some of those for folks watching Going Free, and help some of them who might be having similar scenarios.
Okay, yeah, I've got plenty of those. Don't worry about that.
All right, brother. Well, we'll definitely have you back then.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right, man. Talk soon, Brandt. All right, that's fantastic. So everybody, we could hear Brandt okay, and we could hear me okay. We have the microphone. You all are becoming very personal with the microphone. It's bigger than my head, it looks like. Iron Blood saying it was Buttercup Cupcakes and Giggles that did it. Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's see. Who else do we have here? We have... All right. We have Tall Kevin. Tall Kevin, I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to call you right now and on Skype. We'll see if it works. I'd like to find a way to turn this up even more.
Hello.
Tall Kevin, can I call you just Tall?
You can stick with Kevin. That works.
Okay. All right. Well, it's great to hear from you, brother. How are you?
Yeah, you too. Yeah, good. How about yourself? Just trying to see this thing actually works. I just downloaded Skype. I never knew you could use it just for the audio call, so it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I know very little about it as well. So that's, I guess, probably one of the reasons why we were having so many issues up front last week. But how are you doing, and what would you like to talk about?
I'm good. I just want. Am I on now? Or can people hear me, or is this yourself?
Everybody can hear you, brother.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah, I will make sure I won't curse or anything like that.
Thank you.
But no, just kind of a funny thing. I'm not going to be obviously specific just for privacy reasons, but I live in Pennsylvania, and I don't know if anybody noticed recently on the news. There's the Secretary of Health, or the Secretary General of Health for Pennsylvania. Everybody listening now can Google it. Very easy to pop up, but the person's name is Rachel Levine, and you can look at the face of the spokesperson, and it just mind-blowing. I'm sure you could draw the conclusions of what's going on there, but it's funny that person is actually supposed to be in charge of people's health in Pennsylvania. And it's pretty pretty comical when you really think about it. So I don't know. It's with this whole Corona thing, it's really getting ridiculous. With nothing's open here, and it's unbelievable. And I'm sure Washington's even worse because obviously there's more people down there in the city, but I don't know how I'm going to get through it. But yeah, I've had some funny instances just speaking with some people. I had a funny time. I was at a pizza place a few days ago, and certain types of people that would work there that they would typically hire from lower income areas mysteriously weren't working there. And I said, what happened to all your other workers? They don't have the Corona? And kind of making a joke.
Yeah.
And he was kind of just smiling, looking at me, and I could tell the man was the owner. And it's just funny how some of these owners, I'm sure that's not the only place, where now they have to kind of pick up the slack because they're not used to the low income workers taking off and not being able to work, and now they have to come in and do some of the hard grunt physical labor themselves. And it's I kind of used it as a moment to speak about no white guilt or going free and things like that. And he wasn't really receptive to it. Yeah, just for a few seconds I said, check this website out and blah blah blah, and he just was like, yeah, okay buddy, here's your pizza, go about your day. But yeah, it's funny how that's kind of unintended consequence, I bet, at some of these business
Yes.
owners that are used, like I said, profiting off of the backs of some of the non-white immigrants, or legal or otherwise. Now they actually have to pick up the slack because some of them are, sick with the disease or virus or whatever it is.
Well, yes, and that's something you also see is more apparent in a multiracial environment, that the employees, they feel no loyalty to the owner of the company, and typically, my experience has been that when it comes to our brothers and sisters, we want our employer, and unless the employer is a real jackass that is just exploiting the employees, we want our employer to do well, because that's who signs our checks, and we're able to put 2 and 2 together. And there is if it's, especially if the employer is a member of our community, a member of our people, we want that person to do well because they sign our checks, and there's a sense of still a sense of family there. That's all gone for numerous reasons. Multiracialism is one of them. Globalism is another, and which really is all under the rubric of anti-whiteism. And so you see these, specifically what you're speaking to. You have this owner has all of these non-white employees, and they are deciding, well, they're just not going to come to work. They don't care about him. They don't care about being a professional. They don't care about all of the things that are so meaningful to us. Now, this is, of course, not every non-white person, but we see this largely. And if it was different, then we would see different out of their countries where they come from. But it simply is not. We see where they aggregate in the largest numbers. We see that projection of their biospirit. They're no longer afraid. And this is why, by the way, Kevin, that we're going to be seeing these massive numbers of corona infection in these non-white areas.
And I kind of want to even make an example of that, like you spoke to just now, is there's a certain area where I live in that they're going to possibly have to resort to the National Guard to step in to enforce the curfew, where suspiciously, the area that I live in, and where other people live in, there's no need for that, because typically you could stay home and be an adult, and you're left to your own devices to act accordingly based on what's going on. But certain places, I don't know, they're not receptive to I don't know, public hygiene or anything like that. And it's funny, like I said, you mentioned it to some people and they're just dumbfounded, like, whoa, I never thought of that. And it's like, come on, man, like, just put 2 and 2 together. Like you just said, it's not that hard to figure out.
Well, precisely. And this is another way that, before I forget though, and before I let you go, I want to make sure to thank you for your service to White Wellbeing, brother. You're a great participant. You show up all the time. You're learning the dialectics and using them, learning the lexicon and using it. And you were at this business and you told this owner about nowhiteguilt.org. You never know. I mean, maybe he.
I think I might have said .com on accident. I forgot it was.
Well, if he goes to .com, it'll still take him to the site, so it's okay. So thank you so much for that, by the way. But this is another way, and this is something that we can talk about with our families and friends. This is another way that these plagues, and there are going to be more. This is not going to be the one for our life. This is we've seen these others, and they were smaller. These smaller Ebola plague and MERS and these sorts of things, but that's because it's building up the head of steam. When you have this massive mixture, when you have these borders open to the sewers of the world, this is something that we've been talking about for a long time. So these things are going to increase in frequency and virulence. This is not going to be the one for your life. So all of these people on TV and et cetera that are now saying, well, this is going to be something to tell your grandkids, like it's never going to happen again. Bravo Sierra, we're going to be experiencing more. We need to be able to take better advantage of that, which means we need to increase our numbers and et cetera, so that we can have more Kevins out there saying to these business owners, hey, go to nowhiteguilt.com or .org. But here's the thing. Another thing that we can mention to our friends and family is that we are able to abide. We're an orderly people. Of course, we have our exceptions to the rule, but we are a people that is orderly, and we have this.
One of the few exceptions.
So we have this inclination to order. So when our authority figures say do this or don't do that to stop the spread of infection, and all, we abide, we obey. Now many of these other communities don't. They simply don't. They're still going to go out. They're still going to behave the way they want to behave. They're still going to come into proximity. And by doing so, they're going to spread these pandemics, these plagues far more readily, far more rapidly. And ladies and gentlemen, there's much more to the spread of a virus like this than the passing of a business card. Because each time these things get passed, they can change a little bit. And so when you have these communities in Western civilization that are not going to abide, they're still going to have their gatherings, they're still going to whatever, they're going to be passing this around, and they are going to be influencing changes in the disease, such that remedies, therapeutics, inoculations, whatever it might be, the immunizations that we come up might not work for the changes in these viruses. So they are going to make our countries infinitely more susceptible, and therefore our own lives, the lives we live, infinitely more susceptible to these plagues. It's not going to get better as long as it remains anti-white. It's only going to get better if we start going free. So Kevin, I really appreciate you calling in. Did you have any final thoughts before we go and move on to the next caller, brother?
Just like, I can't see the comments now because I'm on my phone. I don't have my laptop with me. But if you have anybody who can remember, just Google that, the Pennsylvania Secretary of Health or Secretary General of Health, whatever it's called, and you'll kind of get a laugh out of watching some of the press conferences, and kind of makes you wonder what's really going on here. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. Might humor somebody, but I get a kick out every time I see the person on TV.
I might have to.
I don't know.
I'll take a look as well. But thanks for calling in, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm not going to say any hot words or anything, but it's just funny. You'll laugh.
All right, brother.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Hey, man, it was great talking with you.
All right. See, how do you hang this thing up? You just press.
I'll do it. I got it on my end.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's do this. PA Secretary of Health. Let's see what comes up here. See some images. Oh my God. My God, what a knockout. What a beauty. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, Kevin, yes. This is what a looker. I predict that we have is Playboy still a magazine? Because we might have a contender here. Okay, let's see. Who else do we have? Take maybe one or two more calls, and then we want to wrap up. So let's have a look. This is great, though. This is working. So we'll be able. What I can see now, I'm learning now. I have to have fewer things to talk about, like maybe just Heimbach rather than Michelle. Save Michelle for the next show, and then I can get to the calls, and so we can make this a little tighter. How does that sound? That's what I'll do. So let's see who else wrote in here. Who was first? Who was quickest to the? All right, we have. All right. Well, we have. Okay, Roy. Get ready because the call is coming. This is the great Roy Danton, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Roy. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, this is fun. What an honor it is to be able to speak with you and bring you on the show today, bring you on Going Free. What a hero Roy Danton is, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know his story, he came around here and he was in a place, wasn't happy with himself, started going free. He's had one victory after another. And what an absolute testimony it is to his own personal strength to be able to get dedicated to something that works, that he saw was working, and to stick with it. The tenacity there says a lot about this man's character, and working man, but sacrificed a great many things that he could do in his life For example, one time he sacrificed going to this concert that he had the opportunity to go to, and instead he contributed a financial gift to White Wellbeing instead of the concert. So yeah, big round of applause for this hero. He's been getting in shape. He's been doing right by family members. He's been becoming a better thinker and participant. He became a mod here and does a magnificent job moderating on just about every show. Shows up all the time. Doesn't matter for him. I think he must have some sort of a siren that goes off in the house when we start going live, and just breaks him out of bed, and he jumps right on. So what an honor it is to have such an individual with us, like Seaver, like so many others that have been great heroes. So Roy, great to hear from you. Please, brother, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, thank you so much for all these kind words. I'm very happy to be on the show. And yeah, I've been very frustrated recently, but then I realized, well, this is basically a test for us, and eventually we get through this, and we will be stronger afterwards. But maybe the most important thing for us at the moment is to know that we are friends and we are there for each other. So we should make sure to give our folks hope and tell people, hey, if they're frustrated, if they're despaired, just like talk to each other. We're all a big community, and I really like what we're doing.
Well, I'm one of your. I thank you so much, brother. And those are sage words, and I'm one of your biggest fans. Anybody that goes, jumps into something that is working and is such a success as you have been, every time that everything you're saying. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention, Roy has started making some memes and some videos, and they're stupendous. So thank you so much for those as well. You just really excited to have you with us. Is there anything else you want to say? Let me.
I know that you mentioned videos and images. I actually did a little bit of work just before this chaos started, and then I have been so busy with other stuff. And luckily, I still have my job, so I'm also working. But all in all, I think this is like great. I temporarily moved out of the big city a little bit, so I'm on the countryside. I wake up hearing birds sing outside, which is so nice. And I can also go in nature and have a walk, which is so cool.
So you are able to, you're getting out, you're still working, but you don't have to, I guess you're not leaving for work. You're going out for some exercise. Is that it?
Yeah. So I can just walk out of my front door and then basically get to my car. I still have a rental car at the moment. Then take the car, drive out to a forest and for a walk, which I actually plan to do tomorrow again because it's getting beautiful weather over here. And I can safely do that without seeing anybody, getting close to any people, or even touching anything.
Yeah.
So, I was scared that I had the virus or I might be spreading it. I'm still pretty much in self-quarantine, but it's been so long that I'm pretty sure that I'm not getting it anymore. I should be safe, but I cannot be sure whether I didn't have like one of these light versions of it, because I had some cold and flu symptoms early on, like a month ago. And I'm not sure, was it a normal cold, or maybe was it one of those cases where people say some people get lucky, they get the virus and only feel like a very severe flu. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm actually looking into the future very optimistic at the moment. And I could actually see myself living in the countryside long term. Maybe move somewhere, some other state. I don't know.
Right. You're thinking about getting somewhere where there's it's more country, it's more rural. Whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
This is what I tell folks. We are not surrendering any territory by redeploying to someplace that is safer to live and to continue the fight for white well-being. You don't have to stay, ladies and gentlemen, in that dangerous neighborhood where your children have to go to the 50% or 80% non-white school, and not only are they being infected with anti-whiteism, but they are constantly under threat of being beaten up, and those people are beaten up. We hear these terrible stories all the time. So whatever is best for you, my friend, I cannot wait to be able to meet you in person. And you're going to be definitely one of those guys that it's a meeting for the first, an old friend meeting for the first time, as I was saying during the conference. I think we might have had, I've had a couple people here that are really celebrating you. You're a big hero in the community. And so
I'm definitely looking forward to meeting all of you guys. And it's only postponed. I mean, I don't know how long it will take, maybe half a year, maybe a year, but eventually this virus will be over. And then we can all meet. I mean, the city where I live now is not really dangerous, but big city is still not a place I want to be in a time like now. Because it's pretty much impossible to self-isolate if you always have to go through crowds of people to just get to a grocery store. Whereas in the countryside, where you can easily stay like 10 feet away from people, and it's no big deal.
Right.
So I think like with the virus, the countryside is much better. You can also prepare much better. You can get some supplies, store them somewhere. Because I only have a very tiny apartment in the city, and I cannot really store anything in there. And long term, I'm looking forward to maybe even have a house or something in a nice area. I don't know. So I'm actually starting to get optimistic and looking into the good future. And I also want to be around with like our people.
Right.
Ideally, I would like to live in an area where I can meet people on a daily basis. But who knows? Maybe that's going to happen. But just not in an area that's like, I don't know, 30% white.
Right.
It's probably not able for me to spend the rest of my life in.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Well, brother, it has been such an honor to have you on. And we're definitely going to have you back. And I want you to know that from now on, you are, so somebody wrote in the chat about you being, when did Arnold Schwarzenegger become a fan of the show? Well, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Roy has the integrity that if it was on the outside of his body, it would be, the muscles would be bigger than Schwarzenegger. So from now on, one of Roy's nicknames is going to be Arnold, because this man has great integrity, great tenacity. And so we really appreciate you and everything that you're doing, good brother. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Well, how exciting was that, ladies and gentlemen, to have Roy Danton on. And he sounded like a more manly version of Arnold Schwarzenegger, didn't he? All right, let's see how many other potential. What we'll do, ladies and gentlemen, if you're trying to get on today, if we don't get you on today, then I'll have you on my list here, and we will. And you can also, when we get together the next time, you can write in there. I tried last week, didn't get on, and I will prioritize you to have you on. And can you also hear me with the mic like this, by the way? Does it still sound okay? We're going a little longer than I wanted because I guess we're still in the experimental phase, but I think we can get Going Free down to about 2 hours. I'll hit one major topic, read some community comments, and then get to all of your calls. And I think we can get that to 2 hours, a little bit longer than I intended today, because we can also do things like, if we do that, I think we can also very briefly touch upon some news. There's a lot of news going on. By the way, if you send me news, and a big thank you to the kind woman who is serving White Wellbeing, who sent me like 40 news items. And if you send me news items and send them at one news item per message, and put the title of the news item in the message so I can see it, and then the link, and then I can follow. That makes it easier for me to try to figure out what I want to address if I get a chance to address any of it. But let's see, who else do we have here that, okay, let's try this live. MS Fackler. Okay. Let's see, who do we have to speak with us? Is that going to work then, brother, or do you want it on a different? you want it on a different. Let's try that one since I just said it. I will place the call.
Hello.
Hello, brother. Hello again to you. How are you? Can you hear me okay? Not yet, perhaps? We'll see if he can get this, his audio to work. Maybe try. Let me try that call again, and we'll see if not, then maybe we'll try message me and tell me what account you want to speak to me on. So if that one's not going to work. So let's try that one more time.
Hello.
Can you hear me this time? Yes, no? Must be interfering with your mic or your audio. When you listen to this on the video, it must be your speaker rather is being used by the video stream, and so it's not coming through. So let's give you a minute to go back and listen to this, and I will come back to you and we will try again, and message me again, and we can absolutely try again. So, but it looks like it's working so far. I didn't see, did anybody say whether or not you could hear me okay with the mic all the way over there? Paula says your audio is good. Simon says it's okay. All right, great. Let's go ahead and have a look at over here on Cash App. I'll swing the mic back around for a moment so I don't have to yell. Seaver says I'm good. Thank you so much, brother. Tamara, wonderful lady, showing up over here on Cash App again with a $2 gift today. Thank you so much, dear lady. And writing, listening to wise words. Oh, it says cleaning, listening to wise words. Well, thank you so much. And very sweet of you. And thank you for the $2 gift. And we also have, I almost forgot to mention from earlier, our very own Laurel. She is financially gifted $50. Thank you so much, dear lady. Thank you so very much for financially gifting White Wellbeing and the recapture of our destiny. $50 from Laurel on Cash App. Thank you. All right. And thank you, Tamara. Let me see what else we have over here. I think we are 41 BMC writing, hail gardening with NWG channel. Hell back. And there's Justin Lee with one of the best beards in the entire White Positive sphere. Nancy is here. Lil Frigg is here. Great to see you. Roger, wonderful to see you. All right, let me check over here on Entropy. Now remember, oh wait, let's see here. Nope. If you were the person who answered the phone and you couldn't hear us, write me a message back. Let me know on what account you would like me to call you back. And I think the problem was perhaps on that one account, your device was using your speakers for the stream. And so you weren't able to hear us over here on Skype. So you might have to turn the stream completely off. And I will jump on over to Entropy. And we have a question from the great Luke Mason, ladies and gentlemen. Promethean Hales, my good friend, creating an entire album dedicated to telling the story of Prometheus Rising, a magnificent hero, talented beyond my comprehension. So thank you so much, brother. And we have a new piece that I will be sharing with you all from that album. And he's doing some remixes, I think, or some improvements on some of the other pieces. We are going to be, in the coming weeks, releasing the standalone version of Prometheus Rising. We're going to have a big party. We're going to play Luke's music, maybe have Luke on, and we'll see. It'll be exciting. We plan on making it a lot of fun. So Luke over here on the question widget writing, how many anti-whites does it take to screw in a light bulb? Irrelevant. Light bulbs wouldn't exist without Western kind. Well done. Well done, brother. Exactly. They wouldn't exist without Western kind. We'd still be trudging around in the dirt of the earth, in the darkness of the night. Okay, let's see over here on the financial gifting widget on Entropy. Brandt Danger is gifts $10. Thank you so much, good friend. Just had Brandt on. Last week I was gone from my house, and this is what he shared when he was on with us. Gone for 2 days and nights. The garage door was wide open the whole time. Nothing was messed with while I was gone. That's what you get in a high trust neighborhood. Wouldn't that be nice, ladies and gentlemen? It's possible we can have that again. And this is a financial gift from the great Luke Mason, $3. Thank you, brother. Promethean Hales, brother Jason. These Sunday streams always lift my spirits. They lift mine too. It's always great to get together with you all. Let's jump on over back to the Skype and see if we can get a call. Okay, might have the sound working now. I'm going to place the call, turn the mic around.
Hello, Jason.
Yes, can you hear me this time?
Yes, I can.
All right, we made it, ladies and gentlemen. Can everybody hear him okay? We'll see. We'll get the message back. All right, brother, what do you want to talk about?
Well, this is Final Blossom.
My God, ladies and gentlemen, Final Blossom is on with us. How magnificent is that? Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for showing off some of my videos and work.
Oh, you could. I would be so remiss. I couldn't be more honored to do so, and humbled to be able to serve White Wellbeing shoulder to shoulder with the likes of you, brother. A great Final Blossom, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, a great participant in service to White Wellbeing, doing magnificent things for us in various ways, and couldn't enjoy more, couldn't love more, highlighting you and sacrifices you've made and the work you're doing for us and the testimony that you have given, like the great Roy Danton. You are, both of you have both given $1,000 testimonies to the cause and of White Wellbeing and going free. This is not the kind of thing that working class people do, ladies and gentlemen, gently. It's a very meaningful thing. And so it is a real honor to be able to speak with you, brother. What would you like to talk about?
Oh, well, besides thanking you, just if anyone wants to access my video and buy those business cards themselves, they can find me on Twitter, on YouTube, on BitChute, and they can find the videos and links there if they need to.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, let everybody know your channels and your contacts.
Yes. So yeah, it's just searching for Final Blossom. It's pretty uncommonly used name, so it should be pretty easy to find me.
That's fantastic. We couldn't cherish you more than we do. Just like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Final Blossom, when I was ill, sent medicine. He had it sent from Amazon directly to me, and that's splendid. That's saying a lot. This is the kind of community that we want to have, where we take care of each other. There's no hyper individualism here. So this is the kind of sentiment. This is the kind of thinking that we have to have. They can have that individualism, that hyper individualism elsewhere, but we take care of each other in service to White Wellbeing. And one of those heroes, one of the folks that does some of the most is Final Blossom. And it's such an honor to be able to have you on. So folks, go ahead and search for Final Blossom. I don't know if any of the mods have the tweet that I retweeted that he had when he had sent the video, and I had shared the video with, and has these cards. He shares these, and what a brilliant way to be able to spread White Wellbeing. Because this is easy. You can hand this to somebody. If you hand this to one of our brothers or sisters, they're not going to just throw it on the ground. They're not going to litter our environment. They're going to tuck it into their pocket, and if you stick it right into somebody's hand as they're walking along, And remember this after the plague has passed, because right now you want to maintain social distancing. But they're going to stick it in their pocket. They're going to look at it again. They're going to want to know, well, what is this about? And in times like these, when you have the government, you have a plague circling the world, and you have the government that is continuing to bring in these H-1 visas, these people from afar, continuing to allow folks to travel to our countries from places in the world that are demonstrating the infection as well. When you continue to have people, employers that are allowed to craft their business models on the assumption that their non-white employees from foreign lands are going to receive welfare from our paychecks in order to support them, and so the employer can actually pay them less. When that continues to be their business models, people are wondering what is going on. And you don't know. Final Blossom may have done something with these things truly magical, because if you have your own made up, you get these, you download this design from Final Blossom and you get these made and you put these into someone's hand, you don't know where it might reach. Please, no one think that you are too small or too poor or too whatever it might be, too little in the world to accomplish great things. Every one of us has the potential to be titans. Every one of us has the potential to walk on the moon. You can dig down into who and what you are as a Westman, a member of Western kind, and you can become great. You can do great things, and it can be the littlest thing and the littlest person out there that sets something into motion. And maybe it is this business card like this that you pass to someone, you put underneath a windshield wiper, whatever it might be, that ends up changing the course of history. Little small things, and especially when all of those small things come together, as we talk about with the ocean and the molecules of H2O, and we can become together a tidal wave. So, brother, is there anything that you would like to talk about before we let you go tonight? Any specific scenarios in your life or family, or any advice that you would like to give anybody in our community?
Yeah, I can mention one thing from my experience. I made my first video to the Last Message of the West contest that Jared George and Lovely Porridge organized back in August, September. But I have 45 subscribers or so on YouTube, something like 10 on BitChute, and I wasn't getting too much traction on there in terms of reaching people. But when I started sharing the same videos on Twitter, I got hundreds and even more than 1,000 views on some of those videos. So when it comes to reaching other people online, Twitter seems to be one of the most effective ways to do that.
Well, that's great advice. Yeah, we're all going to have, and this is what we talk about, ladies and gentlemen, and Final Blossom is living it. He's reaching out there and he said, well, I tried this avenue, not getting a lot of results, but sticking with it. I tried this avenue, not getting a lot of results, but sticking with it, because maybe results will come. Maybe I've got to tweak this a little bit. Let me try this avenue now, and then all of a sudden starts reaching people. This is living white well-being. This is serving the process of going free. This is the kind of thing that if more and more of us keep doing this, the next plague that comes, the next war that the anti-whites start, the next financial downturn that happens, the next bailout where they rob 10,000 generations of our children to come, so that they can enrich this tiny number of people at the top. The next time that comes around, we will have the people, we will have the liquidity, we will have the intelligence, we will have the talents to be able to really dig in and take advantage of the horror that the anti-whites are inflicting on us, to wake our brothers and sisters up in the world. Final Blossom, a true hero. I cannot thank you enough, brother. And we will absolutely have you back really soon.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, pleasure's mine. What a hero. What an absolute hero. Well, ladies and gentlemen, talk about exciting. Last week, this could not be more amazing than it is. Last week, we had the great Seaver Hamlin, first one to check in, and how apropos for that to happen. And Seaver Hamlin to be the first one to check in on our calling segment. And we've had Roy Danton. We have Full Moon Ancestry. And I don't know if Full Moon is going to be broadcasting after we wrap up here tonight or not, but maybe he will be. So look for that. And if the mod saw that he said he was, then please share that. We have Final Blossom showing up. And just how this couldn't be a more significant, more meaningful, more exciting time than the things that we are doing. I want you all to be happy. I want you all to be excited about what we're doing. We are, if you want to know about our opposition, just look up the Pennsylvania Secretary of Health. That is what we are up against, ladies and gentlemen, the Pennsylvania Secretary of Health. We are going to win this. We are growing stronger while they grow more depraved and sick. Wayne Scully, financially gifting $5 over here on Entropy. Thank you so much, dear friend. Another great hero. The call-in show is fantastic. It makes everyone in the community even more real. It really does, doesn't it? I mean, you can hear their voices. You can hear the passion in their voices. The words that they're sharing. You can hear that these are real lives, real people. These aren't just avatars on a screen. I've met so many of these folks at the Patriotic Alternative Conference, and it just continues to become increasingly real and amazing for us. Thank you so much, Wayne, for stating what is absolutely true. We are the ones who are becoming stronger. We are the ones who are growing every single day, and we're going to continue growing. And I think what we'll do at the next Going Free stream is we'll tighten this up a little bit more. As I say, I'll take out maybe one of the major points, and we'll be able to get this down to more around 2 hours and have more time set aside for people to call in to talk about their experiences. I don't want anybody to be scared. We could also maybe have a scenario where, because I want to hear more from you all. I want to help you all with your particular scenarios, hear about your victories, hear about your challenges, and that will help everybody in the community. And maybe we can do something where, for those of you who are a little scared of speaking live on the live stream and brand new to that, and it seems a little scary, maybe we could also have it where you write to me on the thread on Skype, and I can, so it'll still be a personal conversation between you and I. I'll read those statements to the community as you write them, and I will respond to them that way. Perhaps that can be another way to get other people to participate, because I know it can be the first time you're going to be on a mic in front of a bunch of people listening, that can be a bit of a scary thing. And also some people are out there, they're worried about being identified. They know that their voice would be something that folks would recognize. And so they don't want to be sharing that with the world just yet. Remember, it's not some folks are going to be on the front lines, but we're going to need a lot of people behind the lines who are the support staff doing things in secret, spreading the message. Their lives are not such that they can be open about it, and that is every bit as valid and effective as somebody like myself who is putting my face and name out there on the line. We have Joseph in we'll call it the Tall Kevin widget today, since Tall Kevin participates there more than anyone else. Writing, our brother Poseidon is also streaming on DLive now. All right, folks. Well, I will be checking out now. It's been a magnificent time. Go over there and watch Poseidon, watch Full Moon Ancestry when he gets streaming. And I think, who else is supposed to be streaming later tonight? I think some of our artistic friends, but I can't. Is it Traversing the Divide is streaming, or somebody is streaming as well? So make sure you catch their streams as well when you get an opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, final words. Let's continue to be positive about this. Continue to be like Roy. Go out outdoors, get that sunshine, get that mental sunshine. Do things outside. Look at spring or autumn, wherever you are on the globe. Become one with nature in a very real way. Enjoy it. Identify the little tiniest elements of it. When you do, you'll feel those tiniest elements inside yourself. There's one creator for all of that, ladies and gentlemen, and we harmonize with it. It is an absolutely beautiful thing. Go free. Work on your mean pathogens that you are infected with. Identify all of them. Protect our children. Let's inoculate them against these mean pathogens. Let's not let them be as sick as we have been. Let's enable them to access the truest potential that flows in their veins and in their spirit. Our greatest heroes, our greatest thinkers, they too, as I was saying a little bit earlier, ladies and gentlemen, they too can walk on the moon. Let's make sure they do. Let's go free.